Headset died. I'm back, everybody. How we doing going into this finals series? This is the last set of games that we're going to have coming up between two unlikely opponents meeting at the top. Fury's Fury Horns and Cooper's Commanders, my team. Yes, sir. How about that? Now we see a few specifically targeted bans coming out already. They're going pretty hard after the pool of Wukong on the side of blue right now, trying to take away some of those high priority AD carries that we've seen him play already in this tournament. And on red side, we see some of the most important champions that the Fury Horns have played so far in this tournament with the Zac and the Mordekaiser. Those have absolutely carried games for them in the past and got them through some of the toughest spots they've been in so far. With all that gone, I'm interested to see what they do with blue one.
Yeah,
it's most likely going to be something like an Ashe.
The Trundle pick coming out first. Wow. And another thing to mention with how crazy the seasons have been recently, we have no idea where those bans are targeted for unless you look at those OPs. That could be a Mumu support, a Mumu jungle, Zac mid, Zac jungle.
Absolutely, Zac can play 4 lanes for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Gotta love it. Trundle.
The Trundle is a takeaway pick. Specifically, Ixie played it in the last game to close out his semifinal series and, drive that final nail in. Being able to take that pick away from him, as well as deny the Diana, which he played previously in the series, means you're kind of putting him in his pool in a pretty rough spot right off the bat. The Darius picked up is a strong champion for sure, and it's one that we know that Seal, who's playing top lane for the Commanders this game, is a big fan of himself. He is always going to want to try and get that, and he's going to try and build up a massive individual lead with the pick. He's going to play it very lane dominant. He's most likely going to be taking Ignite, and you're going to see Ixie on the Kha'Zix now picked going up there quite a bit to help out.
I really like the Darius pick here because you're forced to not play a tank when the Trundle comes up, or you're at least very heavily incentivized to not. So the Darius coming out really just showing that the Darius is ready to play against whoever and doesn't really need to be a tank here. And looks like a Gnar response maybe?
It's absolutely a smart, safe pick into something that clearly has a lot of early aggression already shown with the Darius and the Kha'Zix.
Right, something that wants to snowball, and you have the Gnar to get away, and then the Akali looking like it's going to come out here, probably most likely going mid lane, but who knows? Like I said, season's crazy.
Well, his name is Hide in Shrouds for a reason, Dr. Shrouds now, also for a reason. It's most likely going to be his Akali in the mid lane.
I would say
and
so, yeah.
Now this is a pick that could be going a couple different places because we know that Kobita, who's playing mid lane right now for the Commanders, is actually leaning towards support favor as well. He has a top lane string as well, so you could see a lot of stuff flexed around from his mid lane pool. So we don't know exactly where that Galio is going yet.
Right, but it is still a good answer to the Akali if they do want to put it mid, so that could be an interesting play here. It depends on what they want to go here with their bot lane, what their bot lane strategy is.
The main way that they were able to win games in the last series was by playing a strong top side with a lot of setup and then playing for heavy scaling down bottom. I expect them to try and do something similar, especially with what they've already picked up here. You could see, any number of different reliable weak side bot lanes come through, and for these last 2 picks on red.
And I like banning away both of the super big engage enchanters that are super popular in the meta right now with the Seraphine and then Nami. They're just really looking. They want to deny the ult button to engage here with the Gnar and the Trundle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Run at them. I also really like the 2 AP bans coming over here from the blue side as well, knowing that AP is definitely going to be higher on the list in terms of either picking a mid laner, AP heavy support, or an APC here.
With the focus on the Enchanter bans, they may be looking to take one themselves. We could potentially look to see something here, like even a Soraka, which the Commanders have played previously in their games today, or even something like a Sona or maybe a Yuumi coming through here.
Right, even Yuumi getting hit with these nerfs, she's still really strong. A lot of people are calling for her to get nerfed yet again. They want that Q damage nerfed.
All right, Ezreal. Honestly, the Yuumi's looking pretty nice so far, I imagine.
Yuumi Ezreal is a terror, tears up bot lanes for sure.
Absolutely. They're gonna have to respond to this somehow, and the one thing that they've kind of picked for themselves is a top side that can fight, but that can also play safe and kind of secure as well, with the Gnar having a lot of safety in his pick. That's one of just the staple bot lanes in the game right now altogether.
Oh yeah.
It's lane dominant. It's designed to take towers, yes. All right, so we see Poke being matched with Poke. That is a really strong pick, and what's going to be very interesting to see is now we have 2 very, very valuable tools for this Kha'Zix or this Darius whenever they want to run in. They're going to have the speed up and the revive on them from the Zillion, as well as the Galio ult following behind them. So after that comes through, we'll see basically if they can survive the initial burst using those two skills, those two tools, what they can do after the fact.
Right, and the longer these fights go on, the longer Darius, or the better time Darius is going to have here, getting those stacks, making sure that bleed is just on everybody, and then those Noxian Guillotines are going to come down with a lot of true damage here. So it could be very interesting fights to see. I'm not sure. Well, that just the blue team is definitely just going to have to burst this team down. Otherwise, it could get interesting.
One thing I just realized that is still entirely possible. However, I think the Galio mid is very likely, is that we could still see the Zillion mid and the Galio back support. That would absolutely give them a different angle for this. Once we get the champion select pulls up and we start to see where everyone's going, we'll have a little bit more clarity on that.
I personally love Zillion mid. I would love to see it. I don't know how good of a matchup it is into the Akali, but I mean,
absolutely.
Well,
it's more about the Galio being a tough matchup into the double range there.
Yeah, that as well. Obvious. Yeah, both of those things together are definitely not exactly screaming very obvious for the switch there. But it's possible. If I was a betting man, which I definitely am, I would put money on Galio being mid. But
if I was a betting man, I would definitely bet on whichever support it may be. The Caitlyn Lux having early Dragon Prio. They're most likely going to be playing hard for that. They're going to be trying to just run the lane through, get early plates, get the first 2 Drakes, and kind of play the lead out from that point in time.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see the mid game here, if the Caitlyn can't really get ahead by a lot, or if the red team just doesn't drop a lot of kills early. It could be interesting to see this Ezreal scale into the mid game with the Zillion being able to speed him up around a lot of the Lux damage, while also poking and getting that most likely PTA getting procced on the Caitlyn there.
Now, lethality items are one of the things in the game that is going through the most constant changes. It's constantly being recycled into a new form, into a new shape that it may take. What would you expect to see as a jungle player yourself, this Kha'Zix build, as his first couple items?
Ooh, yeah, going lethality into Trundle, Akali, Gnar, where you can't really burst them too much because they're going to have health, or in Akali's case, she can either get away or she has her Shroud to kind of dodge a lot of that damage. It could be interesting to see here. I'm not too sure what the Brazier Kha'Zix build is looking like nowadays, but assuming that you go like a Man Immune with like a Ravenous Hunter, or a Ravenous Hydra rather, it could be interesting to see if that's the route that the Kha'Zix wants to go here. But I do know for a fact that this Ezreal will most likely pick up some of the lethality items. I'm pretty sure that right now the best Ezreal build is with the Essence Reaver going into the Duskblade as well.
There is absolutely no way we'll be able to see anything other than that build, or except maybe a Kraken Slayer build as well here. One thing is there's not really a true tank coming out. You could see the Akali lean towards a build that might be more tanky, but in general, the Gnar, he's going to go towards a Bruiser style build. Ixie, when he's been playing the Trundle in the past, he was going for a Divine Sunder into Sterix Gauge build, which if his opposition here, I think it's Black Eyed Peas still. Yeah, if they keep the lineups the same, if he opts for a similar build, which I think normally he does, he weaves a Bork in there too. It's a lot of HP, but other than the Trundle ult, you're not really spending a lot of time being super durable at that point in time.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see who the Trundle is going to be looking to ult as these fights go down, because I mean, ideally you want to ult the Darius to try to get him bursted down, but if that Galio comes through and knocks everybody up, that Subjugate might be kind of subjugated itself by all the time spent in the fight. So it's going to be definitely a very interesting game to see how these fights are played out. It's definitely going to be less it's a lot less straightforward and a lot more chaotic. And me personally, I love the chaotic fights. As a player, I thrive in them. As a spectator, it's definitely a lot more fun to watch.
All right, now I do not know if we are able to go specifically to an actual spectator delay right now, but we are going to take a quick break, and then we are going to reconvene in just a moment for the start of this match.
All right, guys, welcome back. Another great time to be on the Rift. Just looking at the summoner spells, I don't see anything too crazy here. We do see the Kazakhs opting for that first strike. Generally leans toward a lethality build, and also going with the blue jungle item as well. Looking to move around fast, get the damage out, trying to get that early gold and that early damage. But we will see. Could go anywhere. Everything can happen. And gold is exactly like IBS, where anything can happen. And I know IBS pretty well, so.
Seems like we're getting a little bit of mutual respect between the junglers there, just having themselves a good old-fashioned dance-off in the mid lane.
Oh yeah.
Kha'Zix is one of the very few champions I feel like right now that is not just automatically opting for green smite over anything else, even after its repeated set of nerfs, because of the extra durability that it offers. Having that movement speed combined with his ultimate will honestly allow him to move like he has phase rush. He's going to be able to find some nice angles, hopefully, and get to the backline and wreak havoc on the Lux and Caitlyn that he's designed to do well against. Both junglers are starting on the same side right now, but the Kha'Zix is going leashless.
Very interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not as well versed of a Kha'Zix player, even though I am a jungler. So I'm not too sure if the benefit there is just that you want your bot lane to get there and try to get ahead early. Looks like some early trading going ahead top lane. Gotta love a good slugfest. And the
We've seen World Ender playing each of these lanes like this so far in this tournament so far. When he's been playing, he hasn't taken TP once. He's been playing every single lane to win from minute one. We should expect to see him continue those aggressive trades as we go through.
Absolutely, and not even picking up any farm, just going straight for the trades. I love it. Going again with that E, gonna be shredding some of that armor, getting the bleed stacks on there. The Gnar is gonna have to flash. Ghost is burned, and the Gnar is gonna get away, but still gonna take a little bit more damage from that bleed.
To be completely honest, I've actually I don't play top lane. Maybe I just am not experienced enough. I don't think I have seen a Darius start pull like that in quite a while.
Good pillar. Gonna be stacking the lethal tempo there, getting a little bit low. Good flash from the Good flash from the Galio, and the Kha'Zix is gonna come up with that kill. Galio living with 1 HP. Meanwhile, bot lane, some trading going through. Bombs are not gonna land, but would say that the red team is still getting the better of this trade. Good Q from Pop-Tart going through, and Boulder's gonna fall here. Pop-Tart and Peacemaker still pushing through, trying to get more. Good trade by Ezreal. That's gonna be a 1-for-1. The Lux is gonna pick up that kill for the blue side, but on the red side, Ezreal's gonna be up 1 kill.
In the play mid lane, they just bit off absolutely more than they could chew there. The tower shot taken by Peas was super unfortunate, and it left them in a position where they had to immediately start reeling back. And Kha'Zix with so much forward mobility and burst, with first strike still ready and available for proc, he was just able to take full advantage of that. Great play by Xe mid lane.
Right, absolutely. And I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a pun about Trundle biting off more than they could chew, but I enjoyed it regardless. But yeah, that Kha'Zix just in perfect stance there, and it's looking like Galio's going to be going in for a trade. Gets the better of it.
Until a couple items come through, this Galio really is a bully in the mid lane right here. It's a big beefy champion. It has disruption, CC, has range and wave clear. He's able to disrupt the Galio, the Akali enough that she's never really fully comfortable, and she still hasn't been able to really hit that level 5 point yet, which is a big key mark that champion is looking for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then also with that Galio,
Boulder's coming up mid lane very early.
Good pull by the Darius here. Gonna be just pushing back down, and honestly, we're seeing the same thing over and over again. This Darius just running the Gnar under the tower, getting all those bleed stacks on him, getting the prio.
Pop-Tart not even level 3 yet there.
Okay, Pop-Tart going for the early roam there. Not too much to get prio for top side, but still getting prio regardless.
It seemed like they were just expecting the fight to become a much larger ordeal than it did, with both supports coming up. Comms probably going crazy like a
definitely
like
sounding
a Wall
like
Street exchange.
Yeah, definitely sounding like a little bit of a clown fiesta in the comms, I'm sure. And honestly, having the Caitlyn go alone and farm in a position like that is really good. The Darius going in on the trade is going to land the full combo. Mega Gnar coming up here, trying to kill the Darius. The Darius does have the stacks on, and he is going to fall there. Unfortunately, not able to put out enough damage, and the Gnar's going to go up a kill here. Should go up CS here as well, but probably going to be looking to back. The Darius does not have teleport, so the Gnar does have the ability to push and probably get about half of a plate. He's going to opt to back anyway. Jungler will follow. And going back to the Galio Akali matchup, like we were saying, the Galio being a big bully there, but Akali wants to get in. The Galio likes to just hit the taunt button and watch the Akali struggle. And then let's also not forget the Galio passive with the magic damage shield. And an early Drake getting taken by the red side. Not surprising. Kha'Zix does have an early kill. The Ezreal has an early kill. They are able to put that pressure in.
That's something that Fury Horns have been known for. Or sorry, should I say the Commanders have been known for so far in this tournament. They've had early dragons, I believe, in all of their games except for one so far in this entire tournament that we've had played tonight and yesterday. And coming through right now, Extinction is actually, we were talking about this during the break, but it's actually very difficult to go for a full lethality build against the team that's presented in front of you. Things like the Gnar and the Trundle, you're just never going to be relevant against this Kha'Zix if you go for that. So it looks like he's opting instead to go for a Tiamat start, and that may mean that we get to see the big new famous item that's come out from preseason, the Ravenous Hydra.
Oh yeah,
as his first purchase.
Definitely expecting that Ravenous Hydra here. Should definitely see it. And Ezreal taking a little bit of poke damage after the failed gank there. Gonna be able to probably just push that lane in, get it to reset.
Looks like CS is going to even back out after those minions are taken top there by Krama, and top lane will be completely even except for that one kill, which does slide things in Krama's favor. Being able to balance going in and out of your melee and ranged forms against a champion like Darius is incredibly important here. Having all the setup tools you need to apply pressure and go for kills when you want to, but also being able to play safe against the Kha'Zix is something that's been really helpful for them so far. Krama is honestly putting up an incredible performance so far, just with what he's able to get done, limiting the aggression.
Being able to tank all that aggression and then still being able to come out with a kill, and even on CS is huge. Definitely don't want the Darius to get too big, playing a lot of damage control there. Some trades coming out in the bot lane, nothing too crazy. Zilean does get rooted. Caitlyn is hitting level 6. Ezreal's got to be careful. Good pillar again from Black Eyed Peas. Good taunt coming out. Kali's going to go in a little bit too deep, takes a tower shot, and the Galleon's going to walk away with his life and a decent sized chunk of his health.
There are very few things that make me flame my teammates, but one of them that absolutely does is when they start walking the Zilean bomb towards me. It was an unfortunate situation down bot.
Krama coming in, good ult, gets the flash out. Another flash by Kha'Zix.
They committed so much.
Oh wow, Krama comes out with a kill. Absolutely very, very well played.
That is not the Quima special. That is a weak side warrior coming through clutch.
Weak side king.
Absolutely.
Hand him his crown.
This entire game really is coming down right now to how much they were really trying to invest into topside, taking Ghost, picking Darius early, going for something that has a lot of early power like the Kha'Zix. And it's pitted up against Krama, who is sitting there, standing against all odds, defending every single move that his opponents throw out at him.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to come out with 2 kills on Gnar feels great here. Picking up the Sheen, going to be going for the Trinity Force build. Definitely the best build on him right now.
Feeling himself.
He's coming into a lane where Darius really only has plated steel caps just to block some of that damage, but not too much damage to put down himself at this point. Definitely going to be a lot more of a rough lane for Darius, and especially like somebody like World Ender who wants to come out with a lot of aggression, you're going to be hit with a pretty harsh reality check when you're going into a Gnar up that many items.
Regardless, Darius, because of the kit he has, the innate armor pen, the sustain, and the true damage, he will still be able to fight these if he wants to, as long as he plays them correctly. We're seeing that happen right now.
Right,
however, Peas is coming up in response.
Yeah, Black Eyed Peas coming up in response. Krama does have the Gnar bar full, going to be able to throw. Wow, and he flashes into the stun. Krama going to come out with his 3rd kill of the lane. Definitely looking good for them in the top side.
It looked like he was going back in there specifically to try and get the heal, but he flashed too close so that I don't think he actually achieved that on either of them. I'm watching it back on the stream right now, and yeah, it looks like he didn't get the heal on either of them.
Wow. Big trades coming up from the bot lane. Bot lane's going to be trading a kill towards the blue side. Black Eyed Peas trying to answer in the mid
He
lane.
still has flash.
Did get the flash chomp off, but it's not going to be enough, whereas the Zillion is going to fall on the bot side of the map. It's going to be falling to the Caitlyn, which is nice. You definitely want Caitlyn coming out with some kills in this lane. Definitely a Clown Fiesta happening on the map there. A lot of stuff just happened.
Amazing field by Kobita right there at the end to make sure that his teammate was able to stay alive and keep that KDA intact. Wukong's trying to get his ult from out of range, looking for a little bit of extra poke along with the wave clear. We're starting to see now what you were talking about earlier, where it is kind of, with 3 kills in at this point, a bit of a day of reckoning coming. He's not able to simply freely run at this. He just might. He just might freely run at this Gnar. I think what this says is a lot about the unbreakable spirit of top laners in general.
Yeah.
No matter what situation they are in, no matter how they approach it, they know it's time to fight. And we're seeing that here today from Seal.
There's one thing I know about top laners, and that they will fight at every chance given, and apparently so will this mid lane. Shrouds is going to be taking a little bit of damage there. Black Eyed Peas coming up to respawn. Going to get the pillar onto the AFK boulder. Going to toss out a bomb. Little mutual respect. Kha'Zix's coming up on the flank there. Black Eyed Peas going to trade a little bit of damage. Kha'Zix's going to jump in, going for Pop-Tart. Going to get hit with the exhaust. Big stop sign there. Krama coming over and giving some aggression of himself to the Darius, and it's got to feel good. Pop-Tart going to start the dragon, gets the ult out. Extinction is very low. Shroud's going to get engaged on by Kobita. Curious to see the Akali does go back in. Going to try to take that trade, gets the Q down, and that's going to be a trade onto the Galio. No response from the blue team or from the red team so far. Black Eyed Peas going to be surviving a lot of that. Caitlyn ult comes through on Extinction. Looking a little low. Does outlast the Zillion ulti, but is going to eventually fall.
Looks like this fight's getting pretty close, but it is going in the favor of Fury's Fury Horns, with a lot of attention being given towards just making sure that they get the Kha'Zix out of there after the fact. The situation with the Zillion ult was a little bit unfortunate. The exchange didn't really go their way. We see Wukong trying to find a way to secure some of these kills, hopefully get something back for his team, but it is absolutely a tough spot to be in for sure.
Yeah,
he's able to get away on the back end.
Oh, and he does have to flash from the Lux ulti. Blue team is gonna take the dragon here, and Black Eyed Peas looking to maybe shove the mid lane. No, he's gonna hit the back. That wave is gonna push into his mid laner.
Gold right now. That is Shroud's mid lane. And they got Pop-Tart.
Oh, fun.
You didn't tell us that.
Excel just let us know that you guys cannot hear him, but we can. So we've been talking to a phantom this entire time, but it's okay.
It sounds like we haven't been
taking our meds. All right, Pop-Tart gonna be taking the second bomb, not landing. Ezreal going very deep, gonna use the E very early, gonna be trading a lot of damage onto the Caitlyn. Another Q is gonna do it. Pop-Tart going through. Oh wow, and the ulti does come out. Don't know if he sees the Trundle coming in yet. Trundle's gonna be hitting him down. He's trying to get that E, does get the E off. Subjugate is gonna be burning, and he is gonna fall. Can the Trundle 1v1 the support?
Combo.
And the bomb's gonna go off very low. Wow, very, very low, but Boulder does walk out of there with that bomb going off, and he is gonna trade back the kill. Trundle is gonna fall to the Zillion, and the old man, the Time Lord, picks up a kill of his own, ready to come into the game with a vengeance.
One thing we're seeing right now is definitely a lot of aggression in response to the situation top lane, which is developing. Everybody knows that they are playing a team comp. They can't necessarily wait till 90 minutes to take this one to a 5v5. They need to find a way to make something happen soon. So they've been action-packed in every single lane, fighting mid, bot, and even still top lane.
And yeah, whoever said top lane was an island clearly didn't know that this match was going to happen, because it has been where all of the action is, kind of like you were saying there. World Ender still playing the lane very well, very, very aggressive. Doesn't want to give up any of his aggression here. And Black Eyed Peas may run into the enemy team. Extinction gonna go over, get that first strike procced. Half of his health
He
is
does have
gone,
his
and he is
flash up, but he
gone.
chooses not to use it.
World Ender back into it. Wukong taking a lot of damage, has to E out. Shroud's just gonna walk back to lane, give him a little emote to as a parting gift. Drops a Q just to put the button on it. Is gonna
They're
get
able to get the taunt right there, but nothing else is going to come more of that.
is away. World Ender again showing the aggression, but Krema is very big right now, and he says, "If you want to show me aggression, I'll show it right back at you." World Ender's gonna have to run away with the ghost. Looking to probably back here. Not sure he can handle the Krema's damage right now, but Krema is also low himself.
Having to burn both of your combat summoner spells at once as a top laner who took combat summoner spells is one of the worst feelings in the world when there was no payout for you whatsoever.
Right. No,
He's
absolutely.
he's absolutely still on the back foot. He was starting to find some more confidence back in here, but that exchange right there shows obviously which one of these guys is still on top as we see them use that pressure to get the tower up top. I don't think this will be first tower of the game. I was under the impression bot lane went down already. Yes. Okay.
Yep, and when you see a top laner with Triforce running at you before you've completed your mythic, there's a reason why that item is so expensive, and the stats are crazy, and they will stat check you every time. Looking like Darius is going to be going for the Stride Breaker build. Definitely
He
one of the more
definitely
common
still has a
ones.
lot of it's a good item to go for to stick onto a champion like Gnar because you still have a lot of sustain in your kit already, especially with taking Pop Tart. Um, especially taking wow, somebody just DM'd me. Um, especially with taking Conqueror. And what they really need to be thinking about is this Gnar is going to do a lot of damage while building almost full tank after the Triforce. So the purchases that need to come through next, if they want to stay relevant and they want to find any angles to do a lot of damage to him, they need to be something that can cut through that. A Black Cleaver, perhaps potentially I believe it's called a Shirelda's Grudge,
Yep.
um, or a different purchase like that might help them. Going full lethality probably isn't going to do you much good when they're going to try and spend most of team fight phase in mega form, and they're going to have a randomness completed soon.
Extinction trying to decide whether or not he wants to take the fight is going to eventually jump out. The Galio coming back in. Zillion is left out in the wind. He is going to fall. Galio going to come through. Taunt misses, but Krema is here, and Krema is big. Lux ulti's going to miss there. Kali coming out with a double kill.
Extinction's having to blow his summoner spells to get away. He has no ult here. At this point, he may have to give in unless they want to commit the Zillion ult.
Well, he tries to go in against the Akali. Is going to find himself in the middle of 3 members of the blue team.
Once
Definitely an
again,
ambitious play.
that's a really unfortunate exchange using those two big ultimates, the Galio ultimate and the Zillion ultimate with no major payoff behind them.
Herald?
I don't they do still have the Herald and they should have dropped it beforehand. However, the situation they're in now is not one where it'll expire. They may be trying to get it down soon unless looks like he's going to be falling there. Jumping right into the middle of 4, to be completely honest, it's pretty ill advised. We all kind of were aware of the situation. In general, it's a tough spot to be in, but you have to find a way to pull back, get yourself ready mentally, emotionally for a long series for the rest of this game after, taking an L in one fight.
Yeah, definitely have to know when to back off there, but I appreciate the ambition from the Kazakhs there wanting to go in, trying to get maybe that first strike gold. Maybe you traded enough to get that stacked out there. Kali gonna be just looks like we're swapping over mid lanes uh taken by the bot lane, and bot lane is taken by the mid laners. Caitlyn all gonna come out just for the damage onto the Ezreal. Can't get behind the Zillion to tank it. Darius is still going to be trying to fight the Gnar up top lane. Gnar ult is going to come out, going to run away, going to hit him with a boulder, and Krem is back into the small form here. Kabita looking to take a trade, maybe take a fight against the Akali, going to be taking the worst half of it.
And with the last tower left standing in mid lane for red side, the blue team is going to send their Caitlyn Lux. They're going to send the Trundle for extra vision support and for Peel. And they're going to work on trying to knock down that third tower. Getting all 3 of those down while your opponents haven't been able to secure any of them on their side is absolutely massive. and makes it incredibly difficult for them to rotate around the map and play things the way that they want to.
Black Eyed Peas definitely getting ran up again on by this Trundle. Him and Trundle have been best friends, holding hand for most of the game. Going to be blasting over. The Gnar is on him, going to heal, but it's not enough. Grandma going to ult him back into the wall, and the Darius falls. Extinction looking for the kill onto the Caitlyn. Galio ult's going to come through. Ezreal's going to pick up the kill. Kha'Zix's going to pick up the second. The Akali comes in, trying to clean up, going to pick up one, gets the second. One is revived here, going on the Zillion, going to pick up two. No ulti left. Kabita's going to come over. Ezreal gets the shutdown gold from the Akali, and you definitely love to see a big Ezreal if you're on the red side of the map here.
You can definitely tell that some of these players on the side of Fury's Fury Horns have played together before. There are a couple Rangers and a few just, original CVers on that squad together that have a lot of experience together. They were able to drag that fight on for an incredible amount of time, basically go even in it, while two of them were upside wailing on top lane towers. That's an incredibly beneficial exchange for them in that one right there. And the one thing I will say is that's the first time we were able to see kind of like the payoff that we really wanted from the Gallia Ultimate and the Zillion Ultimate. The safety of both those against the Akali going in, against the Caitlyn and Lux Ultimate raining down on top. Having that finally work is definitely a good sign of a way back into the game if they can make some of these fights go in the right direction.
Yeah, you definitely like to see the commanders coming out, still a fire burning in their bellies. It's good to see that the Ezreal is 5-1. It's gonna have his Kraken. And in terms of builds on the side, I don't see anything too ridiculous. Kha'Zix is gonna opt for the Eclipse here on top of his Hydra. And Lux Wupong still poking, walking up.
They're just all posturing right now, looking to land some of that poke that each champ has right now. As these next mid lanes come in, there's not really much for them to go for here. They're going to start to play for this mid prio, and they're each setting up on one side or the other. The favorable side to be on right now is the side with Dragon right now, because that's the space that you want to defend, that you want to keep your opponent out of. And that's where we see the commanders holding pat right now. We have Seal coming up behind. They may be looking to create something out of this, but with one reset forest, they should know that they have an opportunity to just get a little bit of control and play it slow.
Yeah, and definitely the commander is going to be taking a lot of that prio from mid lane. Still going to have the Ezreal just throwing out Qs, trying to back them off, playing a little bit aggressive on there. Probably can afford to do it with the Zillion speed up and the arcane shift. Gonna be trying to pick up that mid wave again, trying to even out that wave going in. Grandma taking a bit of damage from those shots there.
They do have the Galio at an interesting angle that he can look for taunt from, but also that he can ult from safely. He flashes completely over the
Flashes
wall
back
there.
in. The Lux ultimate's gonna come through. We have Akali going in on the back line. Wupong is going to fall, but does have the Zillion ult to catch him. Extinction going on the Akali. Pop-Tart going to be able to pick up a kill. Picks up a second. Ezreal going in, trying to kill Black Eyed Peas before he can get traded. Black Eyed Peas is going to be able to trade that kill. Extinction caught in a bad position, able to get the blast cone out of there. Peacemaker just running down the Zillion. And the Caitlyn ulti is going to come out. Extinction going to fall, and that's going to be an ace.
Clean ace. They got the dragon, but at what cost? We saw that the mobility that they had, where the Gnar was able to hop over them, and the Akali was able to get easily to the targets that they wanted to, made it so difficult for anybody to actually get locked down before the fight had already gone in favor of Fury Horns. We're starting to see them go for this Baron now. It's going to be uncontested. They're setting up for this next play here, which is most likely going to be a siege on mid lane and a defense of that siege by the commanders.
Right, and Black Eyes Peas getting a little bit low, but like you said, I don't think anybody from the Commanders is going to be able to walk over, and that is the Smite going over and the Baron going over to the Fury Horns.
It seems like these teams, they both know kind of how they want to play these fights, but there are definitely just some champions that are very strong in the roles they're playing in right now. And from that position, you know where you want to be in the fight as the Galio. You know where you want to be in the fight as the Darius, but you're not durable enough right now, and you're not dealing enough damage back to their tanks, to their front line, to kind of justify taking those positions. So fights become incredibly difficult to play when you're behind with a comp like this,
Stun going out onto the
especially with
Caitlyn.
something like an assassin.
And the Caitlyn's gonna fall. And we have the Ezreal picking up the shutdown. World Ender not caught in a good position. Galio ulti's going to come through. Does force Fury Horns to back off there. They are going to push in mid. Did get a red buff for the Ezreal and the shutdown. Definitely looking nice. And just to piggyback off of what you said there, yeah, there's a lot of comps that feel good when you're ahead, but I think more importantly, there's a lot of comps. There are a lot of champions in this game that feel really bad when you're behind. Darius, Kha'Zix being two of those champions. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle here for the Commanders, but I'd be very interested to see if they can pull it off. As you're all going to go through the wave, trying to push through the Baron buff here.
Yeah, they're trying to cut as much of it as they can before any actual push comes through from the Caitlyn Lux with anything followed behind it.
Ezreal
Looks
going to
like they're
be
starting to
caught out
just
a little
advance
bit.
right now.
Extinction caught out. Doesn't want to jump the wall just yet. Is going to die.
Absolutely one tapped.
Wupong trying to get his damage off on this Ezreal. Galio's going to be caught in the middle. Luxalt is going to chunk him. Trying to go in, trade something, isn't able to. Wupong going over, trying to pick up the shutdown, is going to get another shutdown there. Does eventually fall back down to the Trundle there. And I believe the Time Lord is going to fall once again.
It wouldn't have made much
Unfortunate.
difference there with the way it went down, but that Zillion never got used. That's an unfortunate spot. You might want to try to get that off on somebody who's maybe dying at the start of that fight, because by the time Wupong's getting jumped on by two, dropping that on him isn't going to be very relevant.
And as much as I said I love watching chaotic fights, it's definitely not great when you're trying to fight very chaotically. You have a Kha'Zix trying to jump in with maybe a Galio to try to help support him, and the Darius running in, but it gets really scattered. And if Zillion's not in range to ult you, he just can't ult you. So you definitely have to be worried about that. World Under trying to push in, take a tower, get that bounty, but they will lose a lot. Looks like it's going to be two towers. And
Yeah, I think we're losing one hand. It looks like they're going to be able to maintain that defense of their second inhibitor, but giving up the one on the one hand. You are not okay. All right, so they have the inhib bot lane, but the objective coming up is also on that side of the map next, with both teams at Dragons 2-2. It's still anybody's play to make right now. Realistically, as red side here, you know you're pretty behind. You know this can be a tough spot to be in, and you know that maybe if it doesn't look the greatest, you don't have to go for this. You don't have to try too hard to make this happen, because at the end of the day, you just need to.
all right, I think I'm back. I was lagging. I don't know. Everybody turned into a robot, and I made a funny joke about AI taking over, but I believe I'm back. I think Discord servers are having their own trouble, but speaking of trouble, Boulder in trouble. Gamma going in. It's going to be a very messy fight. World Ender trying to get it done. Kobita, Extinction trying to get anything going here. And unfortunately, it's going to be another clean ace. Oh, no, sorry. The Lux did fall. So it'll be a 1 for 5. I definitely like those better than a 4 for 5 odds. They are going to be pushing. Definitely going to take this inhib. Probably looking to take more. Could end the game here. They do have the Caitlyn up. That's going to be a lot of damage onto these towers.
Peacemaker styling on Ixie there at the end with the Gale Force and then the flash back in. He knew he had him, and he was just toying with his food right there. It looks like we're going to see the Fury Horns take game one, and we will hopefully see a long series tonight, but game one is going to go to Fury Horns. One hand. What would you like to see from both teams going into this next game?
I would definitely like to see a more straightforward team comp coming out from the Commanders here. I think that it was a little bit too chaotic. I think they, even before going into the fights, the lanes were not exactly in a great state. I like the aggression from World Under here, but I think we have to be more conscious of where the jungler is, because The Trundle was definitely cooking up his s'mores over there at his campsite.
I think so too. Getting something that has maybe some CC behind it for Ixie, something that might be a little bit more durable, more bruisery, I think would definitely help him survive in some of these fights against things like Trundle and Gnar. And one thing that we saw, the World Ender, as well as AFK Boulder, the Commanders as a whole team have a lot of success with, was this aggressive top lane style, but maybe look for something that has a little bit more mobility. Maybe look for something that can be a little bit more slippery to match the Gnar and how he's going to work around things. You might even be able to take away the pick yourselves. All right, we're going to be going to a break, y'all. And we're going to get into this next game ASAP.
Game 2 coming down. Fury Horns are going to be able to, or we're able to take Game 1. We're seeing some standard bans across the board. Looks very similar to the bans from last game. We have double ADC and a Diana, maybe? And a Diana coming out from the Fury Horns. Trundle going to be prio-picked yet again. And then we have all those AP, the 2 AP jungler, top laner, mid laner, going to be banned. Trundle going to come out first, definitely being prio-picked. I know Trundle has been very, very strong all throughout IBS and Gold Leagues throughout the last, ever. Pretty much
Trundle's
since
a
he's been...
monolith of low-level competitive play for sure. One thing that Peas is known to sometimes consider as a response to it is actually the Lilia, which we may see him pick up here in just a moment. I expect them to take that or to try to go for something more along the lines of a safe bot lane. Looks like they instead pick up the Blitzcrank, which is, it's flexible, but they immediately remove the ability to flex it by also picking up a Zyra alongside it, which is most likely going towards Pop-Tart. She's played it earlier in the tournament to great effect.
Yeah, definitely with the Zyra coming out, you got to be thinking if you're the commanders that Amumu is going to be going into the jungle.
Has to.
Not sure how much I like the Amumu into the Trundle matchup. I would think that Trundle would win at least all the early skirmishes, but maybe if you just don't take early skirmishes, it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know.
So there are some rune pages you can take on Amumu and stuff like that to get some early power out of the champion, but in general, I mean, Trundle's Trundle, right? You know what you're getting out of the champion and you know what's going to come through. Especially after level 6, you're going to have a lot of CC and the burst damage from the Amumu, but in a vacuum, the Trundle is always going to chew through him like bubblegum.
Jhin going into Amumu is definitely a little bit fun, and also with the Zyra. Alistar is going to come out to answer. I'm not too sure how much I like the Alistar into the Zyra. It seems like the Alistar might get a little bit CC locked there, unable to engage. But
I have a feeling this is one of those whole map support games. I don't think he'll spend much time bot lane if he can help it. Just seeing the matchup already, that's not a spot that he wants to be in personally. They most likely take AD in response here. They're hovering the Teemo again, did this last game, and then they go for the Caitlyn once again. Yeah, Peacemaker, I think he spent most of this tournament on the Caitlyn and the Ashe both.
Yeah, I think Caitlyn just a really strong pick right now. Was probably the best ADC of last patch, and probably will continue to be the best ADC of this patch, especially with the Zeri nerfs. Zeri was kind of looking like the best ADC potentially, but after those Q nerfs, definitely Caitlyn's still kind of up there, being the king of the ADCs, or the queen rather. We're seeing a Kled and a Darius ban here. Let's see what this second ban is going to be. Most likely going to be targeting the top and the mid lane here. Unless they think that Toronto could go top, which is definitely very possible. It's a very, very flexible champion.
We're seeing a Sylas ban come through, and truthfully, they do have the Amumu and the Zyra ultimate already. They might be looking to pick up something else coming through here, like an Ornn, and they want to immediately make sure that option isn't available. One thing is the Trundle and the Alistar ultimates are also one that are very popular, very optimal ultimates for a Sylas to take. So it's interesting to see them ban it there when there's a chance that they could have played it themselves with how strong the pick is and how prevalent it is in the meta as a mid lane and jungle pick even now too.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's possible that the mid laner just doesn't play Sylas very often. I haven't looked at the OPGGs. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible caster. But banning the Sylas there with the Mumu ult specifically, I can't blame them too much. It does a lot of damage, keeps them all in one place. The set is going to come out.
They dropped a 3 ban on Krama, but they forgot about the set, which was a champion that he got a pentakill on yesterday, if I remember correctly. He was absolutely balling out. He was swerving left and right. He was dunking on them from the top. But this is the counter matchup that we want to see. Because you can break the shield, you can dash around him how you need to, you can fight back in the early game, and you have sustain to match him as well. The Trundle and the Renekton together are such a strong 2v2 duo, especially compared to the set and the Amumu.
Right, and like you said before, with the Alistar roaming around here too, the Trundle, Renekton, and Alistar roaming around are going to be able to pick up a lot of kills if they play it correctly. Cassiopeia coming out, definitely an ambitious blind pick. Gonna maybe swap to the Syndra. Let's see if the Syndra gets locked. I think it's a good pick with this comp. Nice, and the Syndra does come out. A little bit of disengage there, also doubles as the engage in certain situations. And I was going to talk about how much I like the set because it can deal with that early aggression, but unfortunately, I don't know how much early aggression the set can take from a Renekton. The alligator does love its Catboys. And speaking of
This is a-
Catboys, is the cat going to get drafted?
Having that would me and the Zyra would be mid. There's no way they can be locking this in, right?
All right, and then
Oh
Gnar
man,
comes out. So that is that going to be a set mid or a Gnar mid or a set support? A lot of
it
crazy
means
things can
so
happen here.
you could absolutely be putting the Amumu or the Set jungle. You could be putting the Zyra or the Amumu support. You could be putting the Set or the Gnar top lane. The only thing that we know for sure
It's that
is that this
Caitlyn's
Caitlyn's going AD carry, and
Yeah.
Peacemaker is going to do his absolute best,
I don't know. I'd be
as he
great to
always
see
does.
the Caitlyn jungle. It would be great to see the Caitlyn jungle. I would love to see it,
You
but
know, they did
unfortunately,
say that anyone could jungle, right? That's
that's
the
true.
items, but they came out with these new jungle items, these new pets, and now anyone can jungle. So this is a
That's
chance for you to prove it by playing Jin versus Caitlyn jungle in these games today. You know,
absolutely,
this
and
this is actually a completely true thing. I got absolutely shit on by a Syndra jungle just the other day.
yeah, I
Ran in
played
and killed
a
me at my blue buff.
I played a Morgana jungle today, and I went the Radiant Virtue, and I actually out healed the Aatrox on the other team. So when they say that anybody can jungle and anything can jungle, any champion can jungle, they really mean it. I mean,
When
I
they say
remember the
anything can jungle, they're talking about one hand. With that, we're gonna go to a break
yes.
right now, and we'll be right back when this game gets started. All right, everybody, and we are back with game two of finals tonight. Everything is starting to come together for both teams as they head out onto the Rift. And one thing, that I would want to mention going into this is Kobita has been telling me all tournament that he was very confident against melee mid laners and that he had the pool to deal with them and he had the skill set necessary to put them in their place, one might say. Again, we're seeing a lot of mutual respect from these two junglers, two good friends, two greats of the CV organization right there, Extinction and Black Eyed Peas. A lot of Rangers in this game, a lot of players from Frost as well, with Extinction and World Ender playing together right there. One thing that okay, now we have Shrouds coming mid lane. He's just hanging out doing some sit ups. At this point, Extinction's a little caught off guard by it. He's just gonna walk away. It seems.
He can't handle the alpha that is being exuded from the mid lane
All right,
as they
now it
pull
looks like
back
we might
Frost.
see a bot lane cheese of some kind. They are already getting into the bush right there. Ixie is going leashless once again. It does seem to be something that he does fairly often. When he's planning to go towards topside, he lets his bot lane play for prio, play for level 2 or some kind of advantage of their own that they can get. They're both going to be starting on the same side here. However, the champions themselves clear the jungle in fairly different ways. One of them being very good at taking down the single target camps. One of them having more success, running through those AoE camps like raptors and wolves and the Amumu. And because of that, we're probably going to see slightly different pathing between the two of them. I think we're already seeing our first major change. Ixie is going for a 3 camp. He's going straight from red to Gromp, and then he's going to take his blue buff after. While Black Eyed Peas is most likely, from what I've seen from him in the past, he is going to go for all 6 camps here, unless something really crazy happens on the map that draws his attention. He loves to farm on this champion. He loves to play up. He's probably going to go for something along the lines of a demonic Jack Show build this game because that's what he's trying to play for in the past. Looks like we see some trading coming out.
Yeah, top lane is definitely another slugfest. Didn't expect anything less than that. Kabita in a very, very good matchup for the early game, being able to poke out, being able to hopefully get a CS lead. Starting out the game, Krama, rather, gonna get out of the Meganar form. Gonna have to back off a little bit. Trundle is in the area, potentially looking to start something. Flash stun onto the Krama. Ooh, good pillar flash Q coming out. And will the ignite be enough? It is. First blood going over to the Renekton. And finally, that aggressive playstyle paying off. I know he really, 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 really wanted that first blood after that last game on the Darius, not able to get too much going.
It
Bot
looks like
lane
when they have more reliable setup up in the top lane, that this play style that they were going for last game is doing wonders for them.
and
World
Black
Ender
Eyed
may be
Peas
caught
wants
out
to
on the
trade.
backside.
Is going to get the Q off. Not able to find that second bandage. Trundle going to be beating down on Krama. Krama is going to get their trade kill, but the lethal tempo is stacked. Extinction is rolling, and he's going to get a double kill, trading it back. And what a great start for the Commanders. You can't ask for a better start than that.
This Trundle pick is so great at fighting these early skirmishes and taking advantage of any missteps by your opponents with the pillar, with the speed that you have, and with the slows that you can apply with your Q. You're able to stick close to your opponent, and you have so much damage level 1 with a fully stacked lethal tempo with the extra AD you get from your Q. It's clear to see why this champion has been picked. Blue won both games here tonight.
Absolutely. And, like we were talking about in the draft, the early power of the Trundle is the main reason why he is picked so much at these amateur levels of play. He's just able to walk in, lower the attack damage, slow. He has a pillar to knock people out. It's definitely a good pick if you're trying to get those early skirmishes. And speaking of early skirmishes, Kapita going to be taking a little bit of damage, is going to be able to back off with the help of the three-fingered monster.
Looks like the pillar knocked him back instead of back into Kobita for an additional set of spells.
Black Eyed Pea is going to force the flash out of the Syndra, but Extinction is there again. Going to be able to dodge that W. Does still have the shield. A great stun coming out from the Syndra. Black Eyed Pea is going to have to try. Is able to get away. Boulder
Extinction
coming up.
smartly walks away there.
Gets the knock up. Able to knock him back. Pulverize and headbutt going out. Good flash to cut him off. Black Eyed Peas is going to get stunned up, trying to run away. Trundle is walking up. Does he have the pillar? Unfortunately, he doesn't. Jin W is going to come through, but the team wasn't ready for it.
There is so much expended there, but Black Eyed Peas was able to walk his way out in almost, what seemed to be an impossible manner. It did not look like he was getting away there, especially with Jin Snare coming down on top, but they just didn't have any way to keep track of him and follow on top of that.
And Jin landing just another snare for a great trade, able to get that fourth shot off onto a Caitlyn. And yeah, as a Caitlyn, you don't like to be pushed up with your back against the wall here, but that's the position that he is going to find himself in. And Jin opting for the boots and 4 pots there is going to be able to take some of that poke. World Ender going and trying to get a good trade off, does get that trade off. Wave is pushing back into him. Trundle is going to be on the other side of the map though, so he's just going to be doing it as a precaution, able to clear out some of that. Kabita with a nice knockback is going to get hit with a set W. Not too much damage coming through though.
I think that this lane is going to get even scarier right now because we're starting to see one of the other champions that can roam up that can come help and take advantage of these situations. The Alistar, he's moving up there right now.
And the
This looks to be
Alistar
completely
running
secure.
through pulverized headbutt world ender with another kill and the top side of the map for the commanders. 5-1. Gotta love to see it. Jin's
They're
also looking here. Trundle looking for the gank is going to be able to get onto the Caitlyn pillar coming up on Pop Tart, running away. The Zyra trying to live. Chomp's coming down, going to slow. And Jin coming in with that force shot. Kaboom. Goes
Black
down.
Eyed Peas is
Extinction
there.
is going to fall. Good follow up by Black Eyed Peas. Is going to be able to get the trade, and Caitlyn's going to come out. Oh, unfortunately, Caitlyn can only get one of those kills, but the Amumu picking up the second. Not exactly a total loss. Amumu getting a little bit tankier, being able to do a little bit more damage. Chances are we're going to see the demonic coming out. Looks like maybe second here.
It does look like as Wukong realized that he was dead, he decided not to flash out there, just see if he could get as many of those minions down as he could. We're gonna have Black Eyed Peas soloing this until Peacemaker comes up and starts helping him. It's likely that with how low it is, there's not much they can do to contest this unless they want to both go over here.
Oh, and
All right,
they
we
both
have the
are coming over.
2v2.
The headbutt going to be knocking
It's a
it back.
50-50 and they
And
win.
Extinction is going to be able to pick up that dragon, is going to be battering down this mummy. He's already sad. No need to make him super depressed. Set going to be throwing Extinction on to the Alistar. Going to be going through. W damage is enough without the sweet spot, but he will fall for it. And as Shrouds goes down, Kobita with a great stun onto both Pop Tart and Peacemaker. Pop Tart looks like she's going to fall. And the Zyra does fall, leaving the Caitlyn alone. Looking to maybe back. Yep, and a back is going to come out from that Caitlyn. Jin trying to clear a ward, but he's only got 3 shots, and it's a 4-slot ward. World Ender
And while
trying.
Fury Horns made every single effort to try and find a way in and try and sneak that objective, it was an amazing collapse overall. Getting there right at the right time, finding that exact perfect window to just take the 50-50 and take the advantageous fight after. From and actually, from this position, they're going to be able to kind of do whatever they want, even though they don't have the towers down. Because they're so secure in their leads around the map, they can now move Boulder around. They can start to play for this Herald with the very first Mythic purchase finish in the game by this Divine Sunderer coming through from Trundle. Where they're going to play around is probably afterwards, they're going to use it to break open top lane. If I had to imagine, it does seem to be that they're playing every bit as hard as they can for a lead top lane, with Boulder still trading up here right now.
And Boulder a little bit late with that pulverize there. Isn't able to catch out the Gnar out of the jump. Does still trade over and ignite. Shroud's going to be walking in. Don't think he meant to tank those tower shots, as the Rift is going to go over to the side of the Commanders. Extinction looking to clear the scuttle after picking up the Eye of the Herald. And wow, yeah, Extinction is very big. Like you said, with that Sunderer, it's a massive item for Trundle here. Black Eyed Peas walking up to Wukong.
Oh
I don't
no.
even know if he saw him. Has to flash. Does
The ult
manage
is
to flash
whiffed.
that ulti. And Wupong kind of just sitting back, waiting, seeing if he can what he can do here. Waiting for some kind of help to arrive here as the Alistar starts making his way up.
It was honestly really smart to just walk back to begin with when he knew that all three were heading up, but he wanted to try and see exactly where they were, so he went back towards those Krugs and that jungle entrance right there, and he ran basically face first into the Amumu, which was able to, it cost him his flash, but on the other side of it, it's still not the worst because the Amumu ultimate at level 1 is a massive cooldown to have blown already.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. And no cooldown reduction at all coming from this Amumu, but he is looking over the wall. It's gonna miss the bandage on the
They
Wukong.
do know that he's here now.
Zyra ulti's going through. Krama looks like he's gonna fall as he does. And the Renekton picking up yet another kill. And Wupong not in a good position, is going to be caught out with the bandage. Set's going to flash over, going to get that E in. Going to ult back the extinction, trying to get a little bit more done there. If you throw down the W, I don't believe it's enough. Caitlyn ulti coming through, blocked by the Alistar.
Fantastic block by Boulder there.
And they're going to take a few plates here, uncontested. Going to be splitting that gold between the four of them, the four amigos.
Well, they
Getting those
were
plates.
able to make like, big plays on both sides of the map for both things. The one thing to note is that Krama was actually able to TP back and catch the minions in EXP, and he was able to prevent any plates from going down. Bot lane, it's absolutely not so lucky. They just lost, I think it looks like a wave and a half, and they gave up a couple plates there to this Set, who gold is great on, to this Zyra, who gold is great on, and the Caitlyn as well.
And Kubita's going to be forced to flash Black Eyed Peas with the bandage toss. Puts down a ward, does get some damage onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn going to be able to E away. Ult is going to come down from Black Eyed Peas. The Gnar is there, double stun, waiting for the Q. Boom. Kabita's going to go down, but he is going to trade back with Peacemaker. And Krema unable
If
to
that
hit
hit, it
that
definitely would
boomerang.
have killed.
Oh yeah, unable to hit on Extinction. Wupong is a fast boy. Gonna be
Being
running
that close
through
to a 300 gold shutdown is pretty depressing most of the time,
little.
I'd say. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
really sad.
definitely if you're Extinction, yeah, the booty hole is a little bit tight there. Definitely clinching the cheeks a little bit. Boulder, we're gonna walk over, gonna get stunned, and definitely what I was talking about earlier with the Zyra matchup. Sometimes you just walk into a Zyra and she throws an E, and there's not much you can do. You kind of just sit there, take it, and continue on with your day.
Do you know what Renekton is building into? I'm not up
Um,
to date with
it
the
looks like
itemization changes right
Renekton is
now. A lot of the new
actually.
stuff.
It looks like Renekton is actually building into a Shojin.
Okay, well we did see that from Boulder earlier in the series. However, when
Speaking of
World Ender
Boulder,
played,
is he gonna
okay,
fall? Does
I don't
manage to pop
know.
the ulti, gonna get those extra resistances. That's gonna be good. Wukong definitely trying to get some of that
Shrouds
damage out.
Shrouds has gone wildly deep here, to be
And
completely honest. He
Shrouds is
almost got the
very,
kill on
very
Boulder
deep.
there, but he's on the enemy side of the map, completely
Yeah.
alone against four.
And
That's a
just like
tough
my
spot to
dad,
be in for
he
sure.
disappeared with no trace to be found. Peacemaker gonna get stunned up. Jin ult coming through. Jin picking up a double kill, and that's huge as he's back into the game after all those ganks bot side. And there, it looks like they're gonna transition over to this dragon. Gonna pick up Drake number 2. Gonna fall about 13, 15. And two Drakes going over to the commanders here. Definitely looking good. You have a big Trundle. You have a Renekton who is gonna fall off. That is just the nature of the character. But it's definitely nice to see him abusing that early power. Black Eyed Peas sitting in the bush might try to look for something here on this Trundle, or he might just take a look as he takes bites out of the frog here.
Right, as the
Walking
Fury Horns
around.
were starting to kind of like find a way back into this game a little bit, it seems that Shadow was able to move up top and impact that lane with his lead. Oh,
And
that's
unfortunately,
sad
Extinction
spot to
is
be.
gonna fall, but
The last minion died and he
Zyra
started taking aggro.
Zyra is gonna pick up the shutdown. I'm not sure if that's who you want that on. I guess it's better than the Amumu. But you definitely wanted that to go on that Caitlyn whose ult was coming through there. Unfortunately, that tower was just doing a little bit too much damage to make sure that could happen. Zyra gonna be able to do some good trading, as expected in this matchup. Shroud's walking up, trying to hit the E, not able to.
Looks like
Boulder
Boulder is
coming up.
coming through
He's
for a
gonna be
roam
able to
here.
hit the combo. Big W coming out, but is it going to be enough? I don't believe it will. Kabita going to be able to pick up yet another kill here, sitting at 2.
Kobita,
And
respectful as ever, he did not have an emote at all during that whole exchange.
not even one. That's good for it's good to see two teams out here just really enjoying the game of League of Legends and being
Playing for love,
yeah, for the
That's
love
what
of it.
tonight is all about, really.
You're right. And Black Eyed Peas going over here trying to pick up the wave here. And I mean, again, if you're the commander, say you gotta love the position that you're in. Sure, you don't have a tower on the bot side, and a lot of that gold is going over to the Caitlyn and the Amumu, which you definitely don't. You're not exactly excited about having that gold on them. But you have a Jin with 3 kills, 2 kills on the Syndra. You have 3 kills on the 3 kills and a CS lead on the Renekton here into the into the Gnar, and Trundle's got as many kills as he has fingers, and that's still more than me. It's very impressive. Well, Trundle only has 6 fingers, and I only have 5, so that's the anyway. Jokes
Excel's
are
in our ear
jokes
again.
are yeah, jokes are only fun when you explain them, right? That's when they're the funniest, when you have to explain them. Black Eyed Peas going
It
over
does
Bandage
look
Toss
like
gonna
he's
go
finally
down,
being punished.
and World Ender going in. He might not be getting punished as he comes
Maybe
out of it with a
maybe
kill.
he's too strong. Maybe
And
he's too
Boulder
strong
gonna
to be
go in with a
punished.
dive. Krama gonna be able to knock 2 of them back into the wall, gonna hit the stun. Boulder's just tanking, and he just doesn't take any damage with his ulti up. And that's gonna be a textbook dive there from the side of the commanders. Flash forward from Shroud's gonna be able to pull over the Kabita. Kabita throwing out the ulti, trying to just do the damage from a distance. Shroud's not able to get on top. Gonna throw an emote out there just for fun. That W may be up. That E is definitely up. Gonna pull forward, but Kabita gonna be able to throw those spears into the set, and that's gonna be a third kill coming down for the Syndra. Gonna be able to push
He's
out and probably get that tower as well.
This is absolutely incredible to see right now from World Ender and Extinction, the top and jungle duo for CB Frost, showing that they are absolutely capable of pushing back after a rough game one against the top jungle duo from CB Rangers, the defending BOL Gold champions. This is a matchup where you want to absolutely show what you can do, but you also want to manage expectations. And being able to have a great performance like this is obviously something that they can all be very proud about. Pease
Black
has
Eyed
caught
Peas.
one. We'll just see how long it takes him.
Kabita
Maybe
does
not.
is
He's
supposed to
out of
use the
cues.
flash, but he does flash forward with the ulti. Gonna be crying and crying and crying, and the
Quite a
shutdown.
few cooldowns used by both there as we get the Sunfire Cape damage coming through from Black Eyed Peas to finish him off. I'm pretty surprised to see that he didn't go for Demonic Embrace or for a Jack Show first item, but instead for the Sunfire Cape. This does like kind of amplify the AoE burn damage he has.
It does
Um,
amplify that damage and also deals a little bit with the Trundle, who was getting a little bit fed, and it also helps when ganking anywhere but mid. So definitely, I understand why that purchase was made. I think Demonic is too good right now. It's probably the best item in the game, especially if you're going to be building anybody who wants to build AP and health. You get that
both of
extra
them are
damage
going
on
to
there.
both of them are still going to increase your clear speed by a bit. They're still
Yeah,
going to make you more durable either way. Solid purchases across the board. I think we're going to have a bit of a caught
double headbutt
pick.
by Boulder. Pillar's going to go
Peacemaker is
down.
just getting caught out there. It's a very tough spot to be in. The stun misses on the back end. It looks like this play isn't going to go further.
No, looks like Pop Tart is able to get out of there. And with the tails tucked between their legs, I believe the Fearhorns just kind of have to back off and concede the third dragon.
This feels like an absolute routing, similar to how last game was in reverse fashion. This is the third dragon picked up unanswered in any other neutral objective play. We
And
are seeing a really dominant performance from everybody across the board now, with Boulder, Wupong, and Kobita starting to get involved too as well.
yeah, absolutely. And I would really love to see the Furyhorns play this a little bit more front to back and use some of that power with the CC from the Amumu and from the Zyra. Jin ulti's going to come down, going to slow Krema, is able to get the double stun into the knockback. Black Eyed Peas going to come through, doesn't have the ulti just yet, is able to still pick up the kill on Kabita. That ulti should be coming up soon. Black Eyed Peas looking to use it, does get the ulti off. World Ender, very low, going to be thrown back into his team. Shroud's going to be able to try to get on top of the Jin. Ulti's going to come through. It's not going to be enough. And that's going to be a 2 for 2. Even trade across the board. Don't lose the tower. Boulder going to be the only one left to try to defend this mid lane push, but I'm not too sure how much the cow can do. Going to
They
be
do
trying to
still
just
have the
headbutt
Caitlyn
away
here, which is
Shrouds.
definitely really good at like killing these towers and sieging these situations out. With just an Alistar to wave clear, you have to think that this is probably going down, and it'll be one of their objective bounties claimed as they try and get themselves back in this game.
You
Gold right
definitely
now is at about 6K.
definitely have to imagine that tower would go down, but unfortunately they're not they just don't have the minions to take it. Headshots aren't going to come through, and that tower's still going to be standing. A little bit of life left still in it. And looks like we're going to do some NA ARAM going through.
Now, I believe we've seen a lot of set this tournament. What's very interesting is that this is probably the first one we've seen with the more traditional set mythic of the Gore Drinker. So far, in most situations, we've seen them take Heartsteel. I think we've seen one take Jack Show. I could be wrong about that, but that's an interesting way to go with a lot of people really favoring that mathematically correct build where you're just trying to stack HP as much as possible to go for the maximum possible damage under your
Man,
punchback.
Black Eyed Peas gonna fall to extinction with that Syndra all coming through, and I don't know if we caught it there on the cam there. Barely saw it, but the Kobita actually walked over and stole the red buff from the Caitlyn. So the Caitlyn walks out, half of her health missing, and she doesn't even get the red buff for it. And then the knockback from Alistar twice on those bandages. Very, very well done from Boulder to keep that engage from happening. As they're going to go for this Baron here, 20-minute Baron. Looks like it's going to go over, no contest.
With only
And
one teleport on their team, being the Syndra, having this Baron buff, how do you play this next situation? Do you just group up all five and try to go for an inhibitor? Do you try to split into some sort of a 1-3-1? Do you look for a 4-1 and just try to let the Renekton do as much work as he can by himself?
yeah, I think you kind of have to let the Renekton go on here on his own here. I don't believe this Syndra is strong enough to be able to just put into a side lane and have her do Syndra things.
We did
Um,
see the 1v1 against the set earlier, so we know that matchup is covered at least.
yeah, she could definitely 1v1 the set at this point, and at the very least, she can walk away from that encounter without dying. But I
Looks like
just
they're setting up the siege now.
yeah, the siege going through mid, and it looks like they are gonna elect for the 1-3-1 strategy, putting Syndra top, begging for the set to come up and try to match it. Set's gonna walk over with the big blast cone, is running at Wukong. Black Eyed Peas going to be able to get on top of him as well. Gale Force is going to come out, trying to go back, is able to root up the set. More stuff is just going on. Syndra ulti's going to go down, get Grandma. Nar's going to fall. Peacemaker's getting ran down. Syndra going to be able to pick up the Amumu kill. Huge W, but it's not going to matter too much as the commanders aren't going to be able to take that ace. And by all means, they're probably going to take the base.
They have complete control of the situation. They tried to find a way back in using the man advantage that they created mid, but the responses were too quick. The teleport came through immediately and Whirlwind started walking. The counter engage by Boulder was fantastic, getting two full, like I think like 4-man combos there. And everybody played that last fight so well there, and straight off the bat. We're going into game 3 in just a little while. This is going to be an absolute banger. We'll be right back, y'all.
Welcome back. Game 3. Very exciting. Gotta love the banger series coming out. I'm also so glad to see the Trundle band. As much as I love watching the troll run people down, I love to see some
Each of these
innovation.
teams' junglers absolutely had an MVP performance in the Trundle. So one of these teams having to, be on the blue side, and them having the opportunity to pick it is absolutely a huge advantage, at least just because of the series meta that's developed so far.
Absolutely. As much as I like seeing the Trundle band, I don't know how much I want to see the Kazakhs, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up getting picked here. Extinction may opt to go for it yet again, but with the Akali band, Trundle band, it may be a better pick.
One champion that's absolutely massive for Black Eyed Peas that's still left up is, there we go, it's the Zac. That is absolutely blue wannable right now. It can be played in 4 positions. It's one of the strongest champions of the game in terms of damage, durability, sustain, mobility, crowd control. It brings everything to the table except for maybe wave clear. And when you have a champion like that, that's that flexible, that's that dynamic, you absolutely want it in the hands of your number 1 overall draft pick coming into this tournament, Black Eyed Peas. We have Volibear in response.
Gotta love the Zac pick. Can really be played anywhere. You pick that AP, and I think that solves your wave clear problem. Volibear is gonna come through. Definitely a strong pick. Could be a counter to the Zac jungle. Vayne also coming through, maybe to deal with a little bit of the tankiness.
They may lock in something else, but if they go with that, I think you can condemn a Zac out of his E. That may be the angle they're going for. And that's the final pick lock in there. They must be trying to go for some sort of a bot lane, maybe like a Vayne Lulu, a Vayne Soraka perhaps, something along those lines, to pair it with something to keep it safe there, as they need to find a way to deal with the Zac. One thing I wanted to mention is, when you have the Trundle band, it leaves open the opportunity for these behemoth junglers like the Zac to be taken very early with not a lot of recourse to them, unless you're going to look for something obviously like a Vayne right there.
And the Ashe Misfortune being slammed down with authority with the Zac, you can't blame them too much with the setup. You have the Zac E, the Ashe Arrow, both working together to set things up and get those kills rolling with the Misfortune. And, with that early power of the Misfortune going into the Vayne, who doesn't exactly have a great early game by any means. Some would say a very bad early game in terms of AD carries. Definitely like to see the Ashe and Misfortune putting a little bit of fire under the feet of the Vayne as the Renekton comes through as well. Definitely going to see some bans here to help that Renekton out, maybe set it up for a better position. Be curious to see if they end up banning the Gnar, even though it did do well. I believe Gnar is not super good into Renekton.
For sure.
Seems to be a point of comfort here.
What they want to eliminate is any semblance of safety that may be able to present itself for Krama up in the top lane. It's definitely one where they're going to be playing very, very, very hard for that lead with the Volibear ultimate, with the Renekton stun coming through. They're going to have a lot of burst damage in both their kits. They have a double stun they can chain together. And, again, every single game that Seal has played in this tournament on Renekton, he's taken Ignite. Every single game he's played on somebody else, he's not taken Teleport once, and he's not going to start now. They are going to be playing incredibly hard for kills the entire time. They're just going to be relying. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you want to get away from there. The Gnar is still left up, which means they're probably fine with it in the context of, when he's in mini form, he's mobile, but he's very squishy, and you can maybe find vulnerability from that position. They're banning out the roaming engage supports from Boulder that he was doing really well on last game. He really liked the Alistar. You could tell from how he was playing it in game. To be completely honest, either of those champions are absolutely hellish to play into an Ashe Misfortune lane, so I don't fully think those are completely necessarily, because that lane itself dissuades enough from picking that. And we do see a major change, yeah.
Wow, and 4 top laners coming out from the red side, so really anything is possible.
I would have to expect that the Aatrox is actually going to mid lane. Kobita, he's a man who plays every single role at the highest level possible, but he is known for being a very talented top laner. Aatrox is something that he's definitely going to be capable of playing if he wants to. It could go the other way. You could see him on the Renekton right now, but I can imagine that the Aatrox is a very strong pick for him.
And my guess here is that Aatrox is definitely going to be a flex pick here with the Renekton. They can go either way. It's very interesting. Teemo, of course, going to be hovered for the game 3 just for good luck. Veigar locked in for the mid lane most likely here. And see if what he ends up picking the Warwick.
Now, if there's one thing that I hope we're not seeing.
Kled's coming through.
But it looks like we're seeing it. Ladies and gentlemen, AFK Boulder is playing Aatrox support in Game 3 of the Royal Rumble Finals. Sound the alarms, wave the sirens. It is absolutely Aatrox support, 100%. This is something that he tries to force into scrims for, if I'm being completely honest, no damn reason at all. This is a pick that he prides himself on. You know, he considers himself a savant of Aatrox support players, right? And I don't know what the build is, to be completely honest. I've never seen him play it before, but I know that, you know, Aatrox has a lot of base damage in his kit, right? He has a little bit of, you know, kind of like stickiness with the triple Q, with the tether he can throw down. We'll see how that can work against an Ashe MF.
Yeah,
going into
definitely
Game 3.
A lot of poke coming out from the opposite side of the lane there. With the Aatrox, I would for support, I would have to imagine it's some kind of tank build, maybe some kind of bruiser hybrid build going, you know, what a typical top laner would go. You're not really getting a lot of that gold, and Aatrox does really thrive off of getting ahead early in the top lane. So I'm not too sure there, but I definitely love to see a good clusterfuck come out. And I'm more than excited to see how this plays out here.
You have the Kassadin and the Veigar in mid lane. The Kassadin's definitely like a matchup like that he's going to win it over time, absolutely, but both of these champions are going to ramp up in power hugely as the game goes on. You also have the Vayne, which is going to scale wildly over the course of this game. Watch for those 3 champions and really the power curves that they hit if this one tends to go past 25 minutes. But to be completely honest, with how much playmaking ability we see from both teams, these champions may not even get to hit their late game thresholds. We have stuff like the Volibear ultimate, we have the Zac engage, we have Ashe ult, we have the Kled ult. To be completely honest, most of this playmaking is coming from blue right now. We have to really see a lot more of these tight skirmishes and a lot more reactive plays from red to really get the fights that they want, especially opting for the Aatrox support.
And the scaling from both teams is definitely there. The Veigar is going to scale up. The Misfortune's going to scale up. That Zac is most likely going to get pretty tanky. But then you also, on the other hand, you have Kassadin, who's probably one of the best mid laners in the game right now, paired with a Vayne. And then you have a Renekton and a Volibear who are going to get tanky in front line, and then an Aatrox, where, let's be honest, we have no idea what the hell this Aatrox is going to be doing all game. So it'd definitely be interesting to see how this goes. If it goes to like a 40-minute banger here, it could go either way.
I still don't know who's going bot lane, but we're going to get this to the delay, and we're gonna figure it out in just one moment. Which of these 2 AD carries the support player who's playing AD carry is playing? We'll catch y'all in just a minute.
Thank you
What's up,
all
every?
and welcome back. Sorry, I definitely took the spotlight from you. We should have
Go
discussed
ahead,
who was
man.
going to go
You're
first.
all
Yeah,
good.
game three, very hype. The game has carried on to the next day. It's a multi-day.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're if you're
Very
on the East
exciting
Coast.
about this. One thing to note is the setups coming through from bot lane. We did get some clarity on the fact that it is going to be Ashe support and MF. They're both going to be taking Comet, so and it's going to be a tier start. So that means we're going to be looking for a lot of poke coming through from those two champions, a lot of siege, a lot of kind of like mid game power from that. Now we coming over here to the. I was right as confirmed. The Aatrox support, he has Glacial Augment, which is it procs off of his Q. It'll proc off of his tether, but I don't really know how much he's going to be able to do in this lane against the Ashe and MF. It really comes down to just if he's able to like get the right dash in, get the Q at the right angle, and find the tether, and if they're able to do something creative between all these interesting skills that an Aatrox support can bring, as well as the Condemn from a Vayne.
Yeah, definitely looking like an interesting setup here. The Aatrox and the Vayne.
Oh, they have no
First up,
idea.
looking for an early cheese. And Fury Horns just looking to fake the leash. They have no idea what's waiting for them here. Vayne might have to step out to try to get something, but looking like they are going to go for this trade. Pop-Tart
And they
taking a
get
lot of
one
damage.
flash out already. Peacemaker has to use his flash. Thankfully, he still has Ghost as well, but that's a pretty good chunk of damage out of both of them in exchange for about half of Boulder's health. Top laners, I mean, it's just like it's been in the last couple of games. We're seeing a lot of trading. One thing that does offer some safety, from the Kled pick as you're holding through all this aggression is that you're about to see it in just a moment. You're going to be able to go untargetable for a second. So we'll watch out for if he's able to utilize that when they're trying to press him for dives, when they're trying to make these flash plays. Another thing to note is this is the first game that Krama has said, I have had enough of this shit. I am done. I am taking Ignite too. So now
Correct.
he is running himself TP Ignite versus the Flash Ignite of World Ender. So that combat power, that 1v1 potential is even between the two of them.
Black Eyed Peas coming up from early gank. Doesn't look like much is going to happen there. Boulder are going to be getting a lot of damage traded onto Pop-Tart. Wupong going to take a little bit of return damage as well. Pots are going to be popped. World Ender and Extinction going to be running up there. World Ender has to flash. Ignite still going off. I think he is going to live from there. Extinction going in, trying to stack the passive. Crema is going to miss. And that W from the Zac is going to be what takes him down. Extinction going to flash, going to trade back the kill, and that's jungler kill for jungler kill. Extinction still
Now, if
running.
Ixie can get his Q back up, he could try to get the passive out of Zac there, but
But it
looks like
looks
he's
like
just backing up.
he does have to back off there. Going to be able to try to shove the wave in. Teleport is going to come down from the Kled.
This is a tough spot to be in now because his top laner also doesn't have teleport, so Krama is able to use his teleport to just come straight back. And Ixie knew he had to crash that wave, but he didn't have enough time because the respawn timers are so short at this point in the game.
Yeah, and now you're seeing all of that progress that was made there. You could argue that the early kill on Volibear is actually going to be more beneficial than that early kill on Zac, but now that's kind of thrown out the window. Boulder going to flash forward. Going to be
He's
missing
he's
the
he's he's
W,
going hard with this pick.
taking a little bit of damage there from the poke, and yeah, a little bit ambitious there, but I love the ambition. And he
All right,
does
one
have X
hand.
Flash.
You tell me, what do you build on Aatrox support as we're in this lull state in the game? What do you itemize?
You know, I mean, I think you have to go for the early steel caps to try to deal with some of the poke, and
With this
after
lane for
that,
sure,
you
yeah.
have to go. Oh, and then the Black Eyed Peas coming in with the
Looks
gig,
like
gonna
they're
be able to
pressing
throw
them
the
now.
vein down. Boulder with the glacial, gonna be able to kind of push them off, and the Aatrox support showing some of its power here. World Ender gonna be also taking a trade where he's down a level. Wave is gonna crash, should be able to
He's
catch
down
up
2
here.
levels.
Down
He
2
just
levels,
got
yes.
that 4 there.
This does hit 4 and
That
is
is
gonna
an
be able to
absolutely massive wave built up.
catch up a
Wow.
little bit with that big wave. And in terms of itemizations for the Aatrox, I honestly couldn't tell you. It could go either way. You could build full tank. With the Glacial, I have to imagine to be something a little bit more utility based. Extinction trying to run down the Vigar. Baby Cage is not available. E's going to come down slow. Zach charging the E, but not able to really find the angle there.
Extinction wisely walking away on the back of that play. One
Very
thing to
much knew what
honestly
was happening.
commend the bot lane of the Commanders for is that despite the fact that it's this incredibly oppressive double Comet, double range, double 80 carry matchup, and again, Vayne is not the longest range champion, and Aatrox certainly isn't either. In the context of that, they're up to CS right now, and they have the lane frozen right where they want it.
Yeah,
Most likely,
definitely,
if they if
definitely
they
impressive.
wanted to, they could keep the lane frozen. I'm not sure because I can't see the lane state right now what they're doing, but it does look like off this back timer, Boulder is actually going to be now getting out on the map, and we're going to see this. Okay, never mind. He's just heading back by. He's just going back by. He was just kind of running around in base there for a moment. Nothing too alarming coming through there. Looks like after Seal must have called out that he was going back, he decided not to try and make that play anymore. So he's just roaming down bot and follow.
The Zach able to pull back, but
So
the
many of these
ultimate is
ganks
going to come
mid, but
out.
it's a Kassadin who's level 6. Yeah, how effective do you believe any gank on him is going to be at this point? Right.
Definitely not very effective. Zach passive is going to be forced
Wow.
out
Oh
here,
my
and
god.
two of the blobs are going to be stuck on that corner, and that kill's going to go over to the Cassid. And definitely don't want to see that if you're on the side of the Fury Horns. Pop Tart is going to be able to throw some slows down.
They could definitely look to
Aatrox
turn
with a
this.
little bit of the knockup, definitely showing a bit of the utility of the Aatrox support. Extinction is in the area now, looking to play a little bit of damage control.
The utility of the Aatrox support. I feel like I am in the upside down right now watching
Oh,
this game. There's so many things that just are going absolutely wild all the time. These top laners, though, they haven't changed one bit since day one, game one of this tournament. Both these guys have been playing lane to kill in every
Boulder
way that they
going
possibly could.
through is gonna get the knock up onto the Ash with the Hag Splash, and Wukong is gonna be able to get the kill. The early kill on the Vayne is gonna be massive for him going in. Zach looks like he's going top world, and there is gonna be popping that ultimate, gonna be getting the stun down, going over, gonna be able to trade He's able to get another, and he does get the other one on the Kled before he falls. It's a massive double kill with a huge wave. Kled cannot teleport. What a play from World Ender there, gonna be able to turn that around.
That is so impressive to see, knowing that the Zac passive was down there, and then if you could just get the right, if you could be patient enough in the situation you were in, you could get the Fury bar charged up from your ultimate. You could land the empowered Q, you could land the empowered stun, you could drop ignite, you could get the first kill, and then you could kite out long enough for your ultimate to finish off the second one. To be completely honest, he played that he played that way better than I ever would have, because my first instinct seeing a situation like that would be just to run away, but
Right.
knowing the strength of his champion, like he got a double kill from 0-2 there. That's a really impressive thing because it just shows that he knows what he can do.
And with Zach coming in, trying to get another kill on, or trying to get a kill on a
We'll see
Kabita
if
here.
Kobita can get away.
Kabita, I don't know if he has the
Doesn't look like
mana,
it.
and he doesn't have the mana to ult away. Another kill's gonna go over to the Zach. Krema is, oh god. It's a really tough trade here. World Ender is going to be taking a lot of damage, and with Kled on the unmounted, he does do a little bit of damage there. You do have to be careful. His Q is going to be able to disengage him a bit there. Pretty wise to back off there. Look for the back, and you do have to concede the wave there, but it's better than conceding another 300 gold over to the Kled.
The double
And
pink word comes down. You can already see the synergy between the members of the Commanders as they've been playing together. For 2 days. Fighting these battles and winning the ones they can.
I'm expecting to see them
Oh,
as Fortune ult
just
here,
dropping the
and
ult,
just
trying to
come
steal. Yeah.
out, and
Plenty came over the wall, but Extinction, he held
he held it.
patiently every
Yeah.
skill that he needed to.
And
It
oh,
looks like
wow, great
Extinction whiffed
condemn
his
onto
ultimate and he
Peacemaker.
didn't get over the wall.
Wow, what a
Wow,
great play by
Jesus.
Boulder, and he does get that kill. The Aatrox support showing power, authority, absolutely not scared. And as they dive, the Ash is going to die as well. Zach says, "Come on, I want to join the fight, guys."
He's is here, but
Wukong,
unless he has his ultimate, he's actually at risk as well.
and he does pull in Wupong. Aftershock is going to go off, but Doesn't block a lot of that damage, that true damage coming through from the Vayne, and we have a 2-0 Vayne at 10 minutes. Hate to see that from the side of, well, hold on, looking top, definitely an interesting trade coming on. World Ender definitely getting the worst end of it, but he is able to still dismount that Kled.
There's a lot of defensive capabilities from both mid laners, even though, oh
Flash coming
wow.
forward from Extinction. Is it gonna ult and he's gonna die to the tower?
Oh, they committed far too much there on that side of it. Both mid laners, they're just able to deal with these ganks so easily. They're able to play off of the pressure, whether it's through dropping cage and walking away.
And
Oh
so
man,
much is happening on the
Christ.
map. The
I
flash
can't
forward
keep
tower
up.
dive, mid laner Shrouds is gonna pick up the kill on Kabita. World Ender picks up the kill on Krama. Zach is bot gets away with his life. It is an absolute clown fiesta, and I love every second of it. And if you're a League of Legends fan, you have to love every second of it as well. It is just a straight out slugfest between these two teams. Both teams looking for any advantage they can get. And as of right now, we're seeing a Kled and a Renekton, with Renekton only a slight advantage here. We have a pretty even jungle here with Volibear up a bit CS to match that kill that he's down there onto the Zac. The Vigar is up, has 2 kills, 0 deaths with a pretty sizable CS lead at around 30. The Vayne is very, very ahead here with 2 kills and about 25 CS, 27 CS here above the Misfortune. Definitely can't say that's something I saw coming, but I don't know if I saw the Aatrox support working at all, but it seems to be doing its job perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, who would have guessed, right? Like, just being straight up, this is a surprise to all of us watching. This is a surprise to you, to me. Um, I don't think, even if they lose this game with the early game he's had, this is going to be a performance he's going to speak about for a long time to come as they're dropping this Rift Herald top.
And if
They're
for
coming
nothing
back in
else,
on it.
then the bragging rights.
Ugh.
Volibear is going to stun up the Kled. Krema
Krama's trying to find a way
is in
out.
a very rough position. Aatrox coming through with the CC, making it impossible for this Kled to move around, and Kled's going to be colorblind for a little bit of time here. And looks like the commanders are opting to look into the jungle. I'm pretty sure that E just got canceled by the Zac, so he can't get out. But he is able to just walk out here, but he's running straight into a big wave with the Renekton there, ready to meet him. Renekton going to be able to go up, do a bunch of damage, but Zac still has passive and he's still alive. Extinction is now tanking, does not have ult to cancel the tower damage. I don't know if they can walk in here and kill him.
Doesn't look like they get
Seems
it.
to be able to get it. Wow,
Oh,
Zac is able to come back with the E.
P's played that so
Continue.
well.
And Shroud's coming over, trying to see if he can pick anything up on the Aatrox. The World Ender is going to be popped, but not, well, both World Enders, I believe, are popped. And Shroud's is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Aatrox. And wow, again, just a slugfest.
It does seem that both teams have places that they are really strong and feel comfortable playing around right now. The Zac, we're seeing a very interesting build come through actually that is almost entirely utility focused so far. Um, a lot of times you will see a Jack show, but the Radiant Virtue is a fantastic alternative that you can pick up to keep yourself healing a lot in these fights, to keep your teammates healing a lot in these fights.
And when the double ulti combo is just barely not enough,
He was just
the
barely
Vayne
able
is
to
going
get
to
out,
walk
but you're
away.
seeing right now why this lane is kind of hell
It's
for
very,
a
very
Vayne.
oppressive.
With the double comet, with both of them just layering stuff down without the constant threat of actual like kill pressure from something like, the Volibear coming down as well as the Aatrox being present. They kind of get to harass and push the lane in and get that pressure, get damage on the tower. One thing that you got to commend is that we're still, up in CS. He's getting everything that he needs to in regards to that, and he's doing a good job catching those waves as they come into him.
And we're going to see the
Because
Vayne. Mhm.
keep going.
We're gonna see the Vayne opt in for the Kraken here. Um, all across the board, nothing too crazy. Again, like you mentioned, the Radiant Virtue coming out. I think it is actually better than Jack Show now with all the Jack Show nerfs. Looks like Viger going to be able to pick up the kill on to Kobita there. Shroud's being able to do that. Being pulled back in by the Aatrox is the Zac, and the Aatrox going to be CCing it up. Zach going to be able to pop the ulti. Shroud's looking very low. Zach's going to be able to get that knock up there. Baby Cage does come out. Turret's going to be disabled, and the Vygar looks like he's going to fall, but the Zach is going to be able to keep him alive with the Radiant Virtue. Kled's going to be able to pick up that kill. Extinction looks like he's going to fall too, and Black Eyed P is able to stay alive throughout the entire thing. That Radiant Virtue is able to keep his team alive, and he's able to pick up a kill. I can't believe it.
That fight was so well played. Honestly, by both teams, it came down to just a razor's edge there, with Shrouds and a few others being able to snake away with a very low amount of HP. It's not the end of the world for either teams, as it looks like, you're going to see the Fury Horns pick this dragon up. And, that's just going to even it out to 1-1. Gold is around a 2.5k lead in favor of the Fury Horns. And we just got to see what the scaling picks, the Vayne, and the Cassidon do once they get there later on
Yeah,
in the game.
absolutely. And with the Cassidon, with the Rod of Ages here, and it looks like he is going to be able to get away. A little bit of utility coming through from the Aatrox here. And even though he does have the Rod of Ages, and it is 15 minutes into the game, that is getting stacking. You do have a Vayne with 2 kills, but you definitely don't want to see the Vygar super big being able to blow up both of those champions, because typically the Cassidon's going to opt for a little bit of armor in his build, maybe being able to go a little bit of magic resist here. Um, it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly which one of these scaling picks on either team is going to be able to do more damage here. Uh,
To
the
your point, it
and
most likely will
Mhm.
be he finishes his Archangels, goes for, either Mercs or CDR boots, and then after that, he'll probably be going for Zonias, I'd imagine,
Wow,
just relying on the base damage of the champion.
bro, and Shroud's able to hit that outplay button and just delete that Vayne. And
He's
Vayne,
just too strong right now.
tried playing it well, but you mean there's so much skill involved in that Vygar ultimate that it's really hard to play around when you have a good Vygar player. And Vygar looking to push the wave here into the Aatrox. The Aatrox, a lot lower level and a lot less gold. Extinction forced to back off the ward. Pop
You
Tart's
can see that
trying to
Ixie
see.
wants to kind of
There it
get
is.
into. Oh,
I was just able to say Pop Tart was able to get in range and get that word, and Extinction not able to clear that. And I'm sorry, you can go on.
he just doesn't have a lot of security, even though you can tell that he wants to be going for the vision. He wants to be contesting it and trying to get the information that they need to shove mid lane in. But in order to do that, you actually need to get the lane in yourself. You need to get the cast in a position where he can move. You need to get Boulder up and around. And they're starting to do that so that they can fight for that vision in the bot side river. But to be completely honest, there's not much going on. They're kind of returning back to their spots. Both teams are playing hard for their scaling here as Shrouds looks for a hard bush cheese here. He could probably
Looking for the
one
push
shot either of them.
cheese. And oh, then the condemn's gonna come through. Boulder, oh wow, he
Oh
just
man.
deletes the Vayne. Boulder gonna go up, and he's looking low too. Vygar looking for the kill. Boulder trying to go in, trying to get a little bit of healing off there. Does get the ignite, but he is gonna tie
Oh,
to the
that's
tower. At the same time, Kabita's literally getting ran up on by 3 players, 4 players from the enemy team. Vygar getting that 1v2 is not what you wanted to see there. If you're on the commanders, Rift gonna be dropped. That mid tower is for sure going to fall. And the Cassidon here forced to back off, wait with the Renekton. Extinction is going to be picked up by the Misfortune E. Extinction looking to go in, does
they
get the
got that
Riptor
before
out
the
before
charge.
the
Yeah, that was
charge.
pretty nice.
Definitely impressive how that happened there. Look, definitely not 100% sure how that iProc happened, but League of Legends was made with 200 years of gaming development experience collectively, so I'm sure that was definitely intended the way that it was supposed to happen. And just picking up some vision on the other side of the map, both teams trying to clear a little bit of vision and kind of go into what we were talking about with some of the builds. Aatrox going for the even shroud, which I understand there, gives him a little bit of tankiness, kind
I'd
of leans
imagine if
more
he's
towards the
opting for that,
tankiness
it's
build.
it's full tank after, right? Or something
I,
along those lines.
I would have to imagine here. It would be nice to see if he can pick up a little bit of lethality with the item that I'm totally blanking on right now, the one that supports always get that gives you the vision of the wards.
Broglaive.
Umbroglaive that I definitely knew and you didn't just tell me. Yes, that one.
Pop-Tart's buying it. Yeah, she has it. She
Yes,
has it right now.
Pop-Tart has it.
Actually,
Yeah,
it'd be a
Pop-Tart has
great
it.
purchase for both of them to
I
make
think
for
it'd be a
sure.
good purchase for the Aatrox, gives them a little bit more damage, able to clear the vision as well, establish some of that dominance, but it's hard to outvision an Ashe. That's for sure.
Absolutely. When they're in this more passive part of the game, it is pretty difficult for them to just kind of exist because of how oppressive those two poke champions are. They're starting to move them into the river here. To be completely honest, with this being second dragon, it's not the end of the world to give it up if you're confident in your team's scaling, and both teams could absolutely be so. Right now the space is peppered with blue vision, and we're starting to see that some of the red vision is actually up towards this barren side of the map. If we could get a play in here, maybe picking off Kramer or something like that, they could look to make a cross map play, as it seems that the Fury Horns are clearly setting up for this Baron objective.
And the
The
pings
pings
are
are coming
coming
down to
out.
just go straight to Baron, ignore Krama, just get on top of it and start bursting it down. They're also going for the dragon here. It looks like they're pulling off
They
completely.
are
They're
gonna
just going to
pull
be
off.
trying to cover the mid lane here.
And the issue that you have with that now is now you've given up the dragon, which you probably couldn't contest either way, to be fair. And I believe that
I
Astra
agree.
is going to hit the Renekton, and it does. And you see that comet fly towards the top lane, and the alligator takes a comet straight to the face, just like his ancestors. And, it's, the problem with that
Yeah.
is
All right. Okay. Yeah.
the problem with that is now you've given that up and you haven't done anything on the map to answer for that dragon. The mid push is going to come in, and there's not too much that you could do.
That was a really snappy flash from Wupong there. He got away from what was flash ultimate from the Zac, as well as ult out of Peacemaker there on the MF. Those are some major cooldowns down. If both teams want to start circling back up around towards the Baron right now with those objectives or those cooldowns down, it could be really important if they could find a way to make a play off of it. One thing that I just noticed that I think is very interesting, and I'd like to hear your opinions on. Just as somebody who likes to study the game, likes to talk about game theory and stuff like that. With what appears to be a tier rush into a shield bow coming through for this MF, it's likely going to be Manamune next. What are your thoughts on that build path? What would you go next after?
So I'm a big fan of being able to play Misfortune and throw abilities out in order to poke, and it seems like that is definitely the way that Peacemaker is going. Looks like some trading going on in the top lane as they handshake it and walk it off. But definitely like the idea of having the mana immune, but in execution, I'm not too sure if it lets you kind of creep into the game with that early power spike that the MF has. Um, is as efficiently as if you were going to get a second crit item like an Essence Reaver, or even a Lord Dominic's here wouldn't be too bad with all of the tank coming out of the side there. Wupong going to be able to condemn away the Zac. Smite's going to come through, but with that big blast cone, might not be enough. Black Eyed Peas going to be walking away there. The Vayne does do a little bit of damage. She does hurt, especially on that Zac with that percentage health max, or with that percentage health true damage.
Two items coming
Damage
through for the Vayne is a massive power spike over where the MF is right now for sure. You definitely have, you got 280 carries to one, so the math is kind of still in your favor on the side of the Fury Horns overall. But the damage that the Vayne is able to do right now, she is definitely towards the point of the game where she is scaled through. She is ready to get in your face and to take you down, especially going for a very high damage build in the Kraken Slayer as mythic instead of something more defensive like Shield Bow to help you navigate, like the burst that's going to come through from the Zac and
from the Vigar.
the Vigar as well. Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely I me personally, I would as an ADC player, I would have opted for the shield bow here. But it's very clear here that they were, from the beginning of the game, they wanted to play towards this Vayne, and they want her to do the damage. Not a lot of other damage dealers coming out in the mid game here. So with the Vayne with two items here, it's definitely going to be trying to carry them through these fights. But as of right now, I'm not too sure how you walk up to this enemy team. Uh, if you're the commanders, I'm not too sure how you walk up to the Fury Horns here
it
and
is
how you
pretty
can feel very
difficult
confident.
because of everything that they can lay down, just to like kind of like slow your approach with the Ash and the MF laying everything down. Their front line is strong, but this is honestly your best window to take a fight because the most fed member, the Zac is down bot. He's definitely backed up. You can see that he's playing really far back so that he can look for a TP right now. If you can bait that out, that would be an amazing cooldown to blow, and it would make the next round of Baron dancing a lot easier for you to accomplish on.
And we're seeing Shrouds just going up. Kabita trying to trade a little bit is going to be stunned up by the Everfrost, and they're collapsing down onto Shrouds. Knowing full well, you have to know that they're going to go for the Baron play, but you do want that 700 shutdown and goes on the Cassidon, which is definitely the play that you want there. Trading Baron, though, I'm not too sure if they just
They might have
conceded
just
it.
not expected that quick of a response. They do like to be trying to run over there, but at this point, how much good is it really going to do you? You know, getting that shutdown is absolutely massive. You know
And the
what's the
volley bear comes over
oh
and steals it.
shit, man.
Extinction is able to get
Oh
it, and he
Christ.
does go out and he does flash out. They're not going to lose anybody for it. Kabita is just going to be trying to run down the misfortune, and the Ash is going to be popping the shield bow. Peacemaker looks like he's going to fall to the Renekton. Zac is in there. He is going to heal a lot, but I don't know if he can out heal this. Going to go into his passive, and a massive play coming out from Extinction, saving this game, putting them back into the lead with a 500 gold lead. And we've got a game on our hands now, just like that. A great play to collapse there on the Vygar, get the shutdown, and then now they go over and they take the Baron. And they're able to push through, get a mid tower, and they're set up perfectly for Dragon. Perfectly played by the commanders. Well done. And they move on to take this Dragon. It's going to be Dragon number 2.
It wasn't even a suicide mission. They were able to win the fight afterwards. They got everything that they could have possibly wanted about that, playing it absolutely perfectly. Their most durable members able to set up in the front. Excel's on my ear telling me that they didn't get the blue buff, and at one point you gotta count your blessings. You know, that's what I always say.
As much as Extinction may have wanted the blue buff, I think he'll take the Dragon and the Baron as well. And then another tower is going to fall here. And the back is not going to get canceled. It looked very close there. Those minions were a little bit too close for comfort, especially with nobody
Witsend
else really
coming through
showing
for
on the
third
map.
item, that's going to help survive or
Yeah.
help the Vayne survive the burst that's coming through from these two AP champs. They're going to be focusing the Vayne in every single fight from this point out because it's pretty hard to deal with the Renekton other than to just peel him off and wait till you can all focus them down together. The
Right.
Cassidon is really slippery, and the Aatrox is he's Aatrox support. He's doing great out there though. And from this position, having any defensive stats that they can get is going to be absolutely massive. I wouldn't even be surprised to see components of maybe parts of the lawnmower build coming out. You could even see potentially a Titanic Hydra or just a Maw or something like that to help with defensive capabilities. Because right now, you can dish all the damage out you want, but this Vygar is still going to try and one shot you every single time.
Yeah, the Vygar is massive, and he doesn't have that shutdown anymore, so definitely less appealing to try to get onto. But he is able to still kind of sit in the side lane, catch those waves, and he does have a lot of CS. He's farming with 236 at 28 minutes. So he's getting those Q stacks as well. Kabita is going to try to run away from Black Eyed Peas. The Ash Arrow is going to go a bit wide there, but Kabita should be able to get out of here.
It's
The
very
ulti
unlikely
is
they'll be able to
not.
catch him on the long
Yeah,
term play
and he
here.
does he does get over the wall again, gonna go
He
over that
gets over
other
another
wall,
wall.
and
He has a
looks like the
blast
Cassidon is
cone.
out,
He
and
has
a
three more
lot was just
ults.
wasted there. That was gonna be it wasn't the Zac ulti, but that was the Kled ulti and the Ash Arrow, and even though that Ash Arrow is gonna be up in here in just a moment because
On
it's
the back of that, Cassidy is
for
actually coming back up to look for a play here.
yeah,
Pop-Tart has no
Kabita.
flash. She is for sure dead.
Oh, Pop-Tart is gone from this world. Black Eyed Peas is going in, but he's gonna take a lot of damage there. Radiant Virtue is going to heal a lot, but it's not enough as he falls. Another kill going over to the crocodile here. World Ender walking up with the ulti. He's looking very scary, but looks like they're just gonna let that crash, move along, see if there's anything they can take from the jungle. Um, Looks like some rocks are going to be handed over to the Volley Bear. And World Ender looking to get this bot lane pushed, just trying to put pressure on them. The Baron is gone, has
I
been gone
don't
for about a minute or so now.
I don't know if our viewers have been notified yet. It may have been the case in that last fight where they took down Pop-Tart, but Kobita is now hit level 16. He is very, very strong. an absolute monolith of mobility, damage, and durability coming through. He's building the Zonia's third item here, and he's going to be incredibly slippery and hard to kill. And he's going to have a one shot potential on three members of the Fury Horns here. They're just kiting it back now. They have to be looking to reset off this. They've been on the map for a pretty long amount of time. They were still, kind of rummaging around looking for camps and stuff from when they were pushing down mid. And now they're finally getting a reset in.
Let's see what we can. And looking here at seeing what they can haggle from the shop, it looks like the Volley Bear is going to pick up a Bramble Vest. Seeing a few Force of Natures come out for the side of the Commanders here.
It
And we
looks like
do
with
see.
the gold that he was able to get, the Aatrox is finally, he's had an incredible performance so far in this game. He's moving all around the map, and the damage he was able to put down early game, with just his base damage was absolutely fantastic. But now he has a Black Cleaver on top of that, which is going to help his team, the World Ender, Wukong. It's going to help them deal a little bit of extra damage too with that team armor shred that's going to come through now on top of
And
it.
it is something to note that this, like you said, this Aatrox has been moving all around the map. He's got a KP of 8, which is second only to Vigar, tied with Renekton. And, over half of the kills have had this Aatrox involved. As much as I would have doubted the pick, it seems to be working out really, really well. Look at the Vayne ahead early, and nobody from this bot lane on the side of the Fury Horns is really going to be much of an issue for them. They're more leaning towards the Vigar and a little bit of the Zac and the Kled, but Boulder is going to be stunned up and he's just going to be deleted.
Right as
We
we were
do have the
singing his
Renekton.
praises, he gets picked.
Renekton is on Shrouds. Shrouds is going to fall. Pop Tart looks like she's going to fall next. But wow, and Peacemaker is also going to die here. Pushed up a little bit too far, a little bit separated from their team. And Midwave is going to be pushed in. Definitely going to be losing a tower here. The Zac is going to have to hit a back here. Or maybe just walk over, try to defend the tower a little bit. But I'm not too sure how much a dive would work out here, but they are able to get that tower and they're going to move on to the inhib. And I think they might just be looking for the end here.
It definitely seems to be the case. They might be able to get it. The timers are still pretty long. Peas is back to defend, and Pop Tart will be up soon, but she does not have the crystal arrow to come through on top. They're going to be able to
They're
get
going
it,
to
it
go for the
seems.
end. And that
And we
is
have
it.
our very first champion of the CV Royal Rumble. Cooper's Commanders, my team, handpicked. I picked the best. I knew I did. Never a lick of doubt in my mind. These
And
guys, they fought hard. They battled through a lot of adversity. And I see Silver, I see Seal in the chat right now. The Frost guys definitely have a lot to be proud of for how they came back and battled back from what was some really rough performances to end up carrying some of these games in the later on parts of the game. Everybody
and
did a really great job tonight. Thank you guys all so
absolutely.
much for playing and staying up so late with us. This is this is honestly, it was so great. Today was really awesome, and I'm really proud of all four teams and how they competed.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very, very well fought, well played game. And I gotta say, I know we don't have a formal MVP award, and it's really hard for me to not give it to the Aatrox here. But watching Extinction go over, steal that Baron, and being able to turn the tides in that fight, really turn the tides of the entire game. There, they went, they were down a few thousand gold, and it put them up about, it put them up 500. The Aatrox played very, very well. The Vayne was playing very well. The Renekton in both games was very, very impressive. As well as the Vigar did this game. Unfortunately, it was a little too short, but it was a very, very entertaining series. A very close last game up until the last 5 minutes or so, and definitely had me guessing on which team was going to win.
The CB Frost redemption arc is complete. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We're gonna head out.
Thanks again. Bye, guys.
Oh wait, hold up. It looks like we're running the finals MVP poll right now.
All right, looks like we're going for the MVP vote here.
We are going to have an MVP vote that we're going to let run for just a couple minutes. And then right after that, we're going to bring in whoever won finals MVP to do an interview really quickly. And then, yeah. So I'm going to be casting my vote right now.
I need to see more votes. There's 23 people in this chat and 8 votes. I know you guys
Hmm.
have mice. A lot of you guys were just using them in that game. And as Excel slowly slides back those CB logos into the correct positions, you can see that the one is a little off centered. He's trying his best. Can we all give claps for Excel?
Yeah,
Very well done.
Excel stepping up in round 2 tonight and producing for us. He's a man who knows how to use technology to its fullest potential, and that was put on display for us tonight. This was not only a showcase of what CB's teams can do on the Rift, but also what our production team, what our content team can do. And the honestly, the casters are pretty scrappy,
Yeah,
but
the
our
casters suck.
producers tonight, these guys, I appreciate them so much for sticking with us through this whole thing, setting everything up last night, setting everything up tonight, and sticking with us for as long as they did. So thank you guys all, everybody who helped make this happen. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, honestly, and I really wasn't
Could have run
super
like a
involved
2 minute pull
yesterday
pop tart. Just
with
saying.
the get rid of 2 minute poll. Um, Excel is complaining about I can't fix the logo. It's okay, buddy. We it's fixed in our hearts. As much I didn't really watch a lot of what happened yesterday. I was busy doing our own stuff with our teams. I'm a we run our own part of the teams here with the IBS side of things. But I was so happy to be involved in the finals, and I'm glad that I was given the chance to cast here. It was definitely very entertaining, and I really enjoyed every second of it. It was awesome.
All right. The vote's going to be coming to a close in just one moment. And once it does, we are going to be. I'm getting messages of congratulation and of joy and excitement from some of the guys on Coop's Commanders right now. Seems like everyone had a ton of fun and, it was all smooth sailing all the way through.
Yeah, it's definitely smooth sailing. Cooper was not stressed at all. He was very relaxed throughout this entire process. Um, he's been a real champ. But I before we bring in, looks like the poll is ended, and the finals MVP with 8 votes is Extinction.
Station,
Was my
congratulations,
choice.
man.
Yeah, I think yeah. Congrats, Extinction. I'm
All
sure we're
right.
gonna be pulling him in here in just a moment.
Yeah,
But
we'll each
before
have
we
a couple
do,
questions for you.
and before we do pull him in here, I just want to thank not only the CB production staff in Excel and Pop Tart for putting everything together, but also all of the people viewing here, all of you guys. We thank you guys so much. Thanks to Cooper for all the work I know he did here. And of course, thanks for all the players.
Kills
And Kills,
actually ran a good
Kills as
chunk of
well.
the dock and the bracket, and he led one of the teams. So I really appreciate his help as well. This entire event was also sponsored by Aegis and Lee Trolley. They provided the prize pool for this, and they provided the tournament platform that we used that we had a great time with. Um, and we're gonna post stuff for that later as well, attached to this when we do a run back of the event and everything. But for right now, we're just gonna bring Extinction in, and we're gonna ask him a little bit about the series and how it went for him.
Okay.
What do you
thought
do?
so.
Oh, ooh,
Extinction, buddy. Congratulations.
thanks, man. Thanks. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a great event to watch as a spectator and as a caster. It was definitely a really fun time. So I know I just have one question that's just burning a hole in my pocket here. When when Boulder was electing to pick the Aatrox support, what was going through your head, and how did you guys? What was the comms like? Just let me know.
Well, the con started out. We were kind of just rap battling during draft a little bit.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm not even. He's like, yo, Aatrox support. That's the play. And we're like, yeah, because we're all just memeing, right? We're just like keeping it light. We're 1-1, just trying to like keep the nerves down. And we're all like, laughing, like, yeah. And he's like, no, I'm serious. This is the play. And I was a little skeptical, but I was like, you know what, man? It's if this is what you want, is if this is gonna win us the finals, take it. And then Seal just sitting in there, he goes, man, I believe in you. You got this. And then we just slammed it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely as soon as that Aatrox was locked in. I know us in the casters booth here, we're a little
Sorry, my
taken
headset
back.
just died. Let me give me a sec.
You're fine.
All right, we're back.
All right, Boulder said, "If y'all have faith, it's Aatrox. If not, go Rakan."
Yeah, that was the exact comms.
All right, and then just another question I have before I pass it on along to Coop here. So when you guys were, it was a very even game. You guys were down just a little bit of gold, and you jump over that wall. You steal Baron. You get out, and then you guys finish the fight. What was going on through your head? What were comms like? What were you guys feeling?
So we recognized very early that they were going for the Baron, and we were kind of sitting there like half the team was like, we don't go for this, and then half of our team was like, do they do it fast enough? And we kind of saw they were shredding it, and honestly, all that was going in my head was like, man, I am running it on this volley bear right now. Like,
Right.
if I do one thing this game, it's steal this Baron. And all I dude, all I remember like adrenaline was going through, and I leaped over the wall and I literally scream out like, that's mine, and I smited it, and just comms were electric. I'm like, I'm out, and then they're like, no, we're in, and we just rolled off the adrenaline and just kind of took that high through the rest of the game.
I love the energy there, and that's the real Giga Chad alpha move to just go in there and claim it as your own and take it. Definitely was very entertaining to watch, and I'm sure if you go back and watch the stream, I'm sure you'll love our reaction to it as well.
All right, Ixie, you definitely had a connection with some of the players in your team. You and Barack are good friends. You guys have known each other for quite a while, and you're also teammates on CB Frost with Ixie, with a Seal, right? How was your experience working with some of the players who you had never had a chance to meet before or had never had a chance to play with before?
Um, it was really interesting. Like I've 1v1 against Boulder before. And I knew he was really good. Like I have a lot of respect for Boulder. Um, and then I scrimmed against him on Shield. So I had a lot of respect for him. He plays very well, so I knew that I could count on him. Um, Kobita, I mean, he's a veteran. He won with Ibiza. I trusted them wholeheartedly. It started out kind of rough yesterday because when I'm on Frost, I play really aggressive and I try to dominate that early game. What depending on what champion I'm on, it doesn't matter. Like you probably saw it a couple times on stream. I ran it down as Diana because I'm just like, we need to be making these plays. And it took till the loss in semifinals for us to really just sit down and be like, what do we want to do as a team, And as soon as we were like, Wupong said, I want to scale bot. I don't want to make plays bot. I was like, all right, bet. You're laying, you do what you want. That's in your control. Draft me, gank set up top and mid, and let's get this done. Because they wanted the early game aggression. And then ever since then, I mean, we went 4-1 after that conversation. It's kind of crazy. It's like we had such a good group of guys that as soon as we understood what each expected out of each other and what each wanted to do, it was like it just meshed.
Absolutely. And, this was definitely, it was only 2 days and there were only so many games to be played. I don't think anybody did too much preparation or practice for this. But from this experience, was there anything that you learned? I know that you're constantly on a quest to become a better player. Was there anything that you learned from this tournament that you're maybe going to take with you into, the rest of the League of Legends that you play?
Settle down. You're doing too much sometimes. uh, like sometimes I'm always like, I got to take things into my own hands, and a lot of the time it ends up turning into some real inting plays, and just being able to like respect my laners, and when they call out like, you know what, I don't want any more plays in my lane, I'm just like, that's not a shot. That's just them trying to control what they can control, right? So
Yeah.
it's just learning to settle down, and you don't always have to make the big plays, but sometimes it's fun to steal Baron over the wall. But yeah, just play the game, play relax. I got 4 other guys on my team that I can trust.
Awesome, dude. Glad to hear that from you. Thank you for taking the time to do an interview with us. We're going to end the stream and go to bed.
Can I just say one more thing? I just
Of
want to
course.
say, Peas, I love jungling against you, man. It's always electric. It was super fun. Um, you guys played great. You guys played really great, and I just was grateful for the opportunity to play these games with you guys.
I'm sure your teammates really appreciate that, man. Have a great night, everybody. We're gonna catch you guys later.
Thanks for watching, guys.